Skylar, 6th grade. I'm walking into school behind my brother and Oliver, one of his best friends. They really don't pay any attention to me and only let me follow them to school, because Mary makes them bring me. Mary is my nanny. She has been with me as long as I can remember. My dad is the beta of the pack and really busy. So Mary was brought on to teach me how to behave like a lady. Which basically means teach me to be silent unless spoken to and out of the way of the men. She does nothing of the sort, but my dad doesn't know that, as long as I make a good show when he's around. My brother spends most of his time with the future alphas, Cameron and Dakota, the future delta, Sam, and the future gamma, Oliver. They travel in a group wherever they go. They are almost worse than some of the girls here. Mary told him to make sure I got to and from school safely after I came home last week, with a bruise under my eye and scrapes up my arm. I tried to tell her it was an accident and that I tripped. It was not a big deal, but she didn't believe me. She knows I have been having trouble with kids at the school. I live in a werewolf pack that feeds on hierarchy and dominance. Of course, at some point, we are all going to start trying to showcase our dominance. We're middle schoolers. What I have seen, though, is it's more the non-ranked kids who are trying to show off for the ranked kids. They are trying to gain status by being noticed. It's funny to think that some kids are popular just for the rank they were born into, not what they have actually done. Obviously, everybody wants to be the alpha's kids' friends. That's the height of all popularity. My brother, Sam, and Oliver aren't far behind being rank-born. I, however, don't matter, even though I am the beta's daughter and have beta blood. I am the reason that my mother is dead, and that is reason enough to shun me to lower than an omega. That is why Mary fears for me. She has seen how kids openly treat me and no adult does a thing to stop it, not even my father. Move it, fatty. You're taking up the whole hallway and walking slower than a turtle. Are you sure you're a wolf? Kaylee sneers behind me. I just move to the side to try and get out of her way. She sticks her foot between my legs and I trip sideways headfirst into a locker, not being able to catch myself with my armful of books. The crash brings everyone to a halt. All eyes are on me, but the only ones I care about are my brothers. He turned to look at the sound, and when I made eye contact, he just shook his head, rolled his eyes, and turned to walk away, Oliver and Kaylee following him. The rest of the kids in the hallway dispersed too, some laughing quietly, others not so quietly, but no one stops to help me up. 7th grade. Don't you ever question my authority in front of another student again? Kaylee shoulder checks me into a door leading out to the courtyard in the middle of the school. I didn't question your authority. I told you that you can't hit kids just because they are in your way. If you were late, that is not their fault. I shouldn't snap back at her. It only fuels her fire, but she's starting to get on my nerves. She was late because she skipped second period to go get coffee with her friends, and was late getting back to third period, who happens to be a teacher that will report her to her father. Although nothing ever seems to happen when she is reported. I right myself, set my focus down the hallway, and move to walk away from the door that was holding me up. But before I can get 2 steps, Marnie, one of Kaylee's little minions, steps out to trip me, then proceeds to dump her iced Lade on my head. I hear cackles of laughter, then others join in, meaning we attracted a crowd. I look up to see my brother and his friends joining in with the laughter. Maybe if you trained a little harder and lost some of that baby fat, you wouldn't be so clumsy. Kaylee says, not so quietly to me then. Hey boys, are we up for hanging out at the fire pit tonight? To my brother and his friends. Skylar, fall of 8th grade. Come back here, you little bee-teach. A brunette goes flying by me with Barbie number 2, Jeannie, stomping after her awkwardly in her wedges and skirt so short and tight. I wonder how she managed to keep all her bits covered making the smallest of movements, let alone attempted running. She looks livid, and I can see the other 2 Barbies coming up behind her, strutting, since running or normal walking is not possible in the sky-high shoes they are wearing. I don't know what happened, but these three came back from their summer trip abroad and decided they were the queens of the school and normal rules of decency didn't apply to them. They were never what anyone would call nice, but they didn't outwardly harass people either. As the beta's daughter, it was my job to make sure all pack members were protected, even from our own. My father may not want me or take me seriously. My older brother was the true beta. But I took my rank and status seriously anyway, since that is the one thing he beat into our heads since birth. We were not to embarrass him in any way as the beta. The image was the most important thing to him. I step in front of Jeannie, hands up hopefully in a sign of peace. Why are you chasing her? What did she do, Jeannie? Jeannie almost falls over, trying to stop her momentum in her cell-T getup. She got me a D on my paper. That little B-teach was supposed to make me sound smart and get me an easy grade. She purposely got me a bad grade to embarrass me in front of the new teacher. Get out of my way, Skylar. She snarls at me and tries to push me out of the way, looking at me like I am some piece of trash under her designer shoe. Did you pay her to do a good job, or did you just pick a smart kid in your class and tell them they were doing your work? What does that matter? I am a warrior, and she is just an omega. She is beneath me and should be glad I was talking to her in the first place. Her rank and yours have nothing to do with your schoolwork. And last I checked, you are no warrior. You are lazy and don't make time to train, let alone be considered competent. That's your fault. Do your own work. Leave her alone. She didn't volunteer and you didn't pay her. She owes you nothing. I refuse to move from her path. I don't have my beta aura yet, but I figure fake it until you make it right. I stand up as tall as I can, which is not much at my 5'0" height, and keep stepping in her path as she tries to step around me to keep her away from the girl. As a warrior, she should be more agile and be able to easily step around me, but training isn't on this warrior's agenda. You need to watch what you say to your betters. You murderer. You are not worth sharing breathing room with. Your dad thinks so. Your brother thinks so. No one wants you around, so move. Kaylee sneers as she walks up and steps around Jeannie. Marnie, hot on her heels like the good little minion she is, forms the triangle they have decided, makes them the most intimidating. I think they have seen Mean Girls too many times. No one cares about you or your worthless opinions. No one in this pack humiliates us and gets away with it. With that, she shoves past me and heads straight for my brother and his friends. I know they heard what she said to me. Werewolves have above-average hearing. But as the future alphas, beta, gamma, and delta, they all have extraordinary hearing. They don't even flinch at her hateful words. They believe if you can't take a little criticism, you're too weak to deal with in the first place. It's not the first time she's said those words to me, but they don't hurt any less the longer I hear them. I blink back, the tears burning my eyes, take a deep breath, and head home. I hope the girl got away at least. I hope she can avoid those three, but I might have just prolonged the inevitable. I have a feeling this year is going to be a long one. I just need to keep my head down, keep my grades up, and stay out of their way. Just a few more years, and I can leave this hellhole. Fall of 9 the grade. SLAM. Well, that hurt more than it normally does. A groan slips out of my mouth. I don't remember the lockers biting back so hard. That's what I'm thinking as I slide down to the floor with my eyes closed and feel the back of my head where it hit the locker, awaiting the next blow. Happy Monday to you too. I mutter to no one in particular. You fat cow, stop getting in my way. Kaylee hisses at me before she slaps me. I can feel a little bit of blood trickle from the side of my mouth. She doesn't hit that hard, but her fake nails are as sharp as cat claws. I can hear a couple chuckles, and one is a little deeper than the others. That would explain the hard blow into the locker. She had one of the boys throw me this time. I don't look around though. Kaylee may skip all of our fight training. But she has proven she can provide torture in many other ways, and there are plenty of people who want to be in her circle so bad that they will do anything to anyone to gain approval. What did I do this time, Your Highness? I ask sarcastically, risking a look up at her. I'm hoping to keep her attention long enough for the kid she was screaming at to run away. Kaylee doesn't get her hands dirty anymore. She found out quickly when you are popular or just plain evil. People will do just about anything to stay on your good side, in the hopes of vicarious status or to not be the next victim. Having her father on the school board helps too. None of her actions have ever been caught on camera, so there isn't proof of anything she does except the marks all over me. And she has everyone believing I am a weak nobody that can't take a hit or heal very quickly. A few kids have been suspended because of her. She harassed one so badly he moved away from our pack to go to school in a neighboring pack where his grandparents live. All because he wouldn't break up with his girlfriend for her. We were in the 5th grade. Who is thinking about that in the 5th grade? No one talks about that, though. The line the pack members believe, or at least spread about, is he needed extra guidance that the other school provides. You do not stop me from disciplining a pup. That little toe rag purposely ruined my brand new designer shoes in front of the whole school. She deserves to be punished. Kaylee tosses her platinum-bleached hair over her shoulder and rolls her crystal blue eyes at me, like I am the dumbest person in the world for not understanding that. It wasn't the whole school. It was my brother, the future beta, along with the future alphas, gamma, and delta. Those 5 boys are rarely separated. She was trying to gain the attention of Dakota and Cameron, our future alphas, like most of the girls in our school. Her little minions were focused on the other 3. They didn't really care which one gave them attention as long as they were noticed. As Marnie and Jeannie were ogling the guys, Marnie tripped over this little 4th grader and dumped whatever frou-frou iced coffee drink all down Callie's legs. Kaylee will never admit when she and her friends are in the wrong, though. The guys walk off chuckling, not even noticing the red tinge to Kaylee's eyes, showing she's about to blow a gasket. Although, I don't think she has ever shown them that side of her. She's not dumb enough to show them her true colors. Her and her friends want to stay in the ranked circle. These boys rule the school like they think our parents rule this pack. They have no idea what they are actually doing, but they like the adoration. You can see it in their eyes. Acting tough and leading by example, as they call it. If you want to be the best, act like it, until someone makes you prove it, then don't lose. I can't blame Kaylee and her friends for tripping over themselves around the future alphas and their friends. Really. The guys are a year ahead of us in school and just came back from summer training. Since they will all take over for their fathers when they graduate high school, they have been doing their respective rank training for the last 2 summers at a compound the Alpha King has on his castle grounds. They will train 1 month each summer for the rest of their high school career. I think the training keeps them from getting into trouble while they are out of school for the summer. But I'm sure they learn a lot too. They also get to build relations with the other future ranked members in our alliances and in our Alpha King's territory. What could go wrong putting 50 or so high-ranking teenage kids together for a whole month, teaching them battle skills, strategy, pack maintenance? I'm sure it's a pissing match the first few days. The alphas learn about caring for the pack financially and dealing with disputes amongst members. They are the strongest in the pack and usually at front line of defense when attacks happen and must put the pack first. The beta's job is to take on any responsibilities from the alpha or alphas that don't need direct influence from the alpha. The beta is second in command and the alpha's right-hand person. The gamma's job is similar to the beta, but they are the Luna's second in command and her prime protector. The delta is the lead warrior, in charge of the pack's defense and safety. They each have a job that is way more complicated and stressful than it sounds, and many pack members, including the future ranked members, take for granted what goes on behind the scenes. I think that is why the Alpha King does his summer training. It pulls these ranked kids out of a childish setting like school and places them in a more real-world situation. Some adapt better than others. I think the Alpha King also likes to know of friendships and rivalries early on. And what better way than to see them all in action, away from the influence of their parents. Our Alpha King does a good job of keeping the ridiculous pack leaders from causing trouble. But there is always someone trying to gain a better rank through alliances, treaties, and forcing chosen mates on their children. Sometimes kids act better when the political aspirations are not a part of the training. There are several Alpha Kings throughout the world, and they have a direct connection to the moon goddess herself through their Luna Queens. They are the full governing body for all werewolves, but work together when disputes or wars get too big for just one to handle. This year, when the guys came back, they were all almost unrecognizable. Each of them had a massive growth spurt and put on muscles like it was their job. They were all good-looking before, even my brother, but now they looked like men, very, very hot men. They all stood over 6 feet tall and were as wide as a standard doorway. As they get closer to 18, their auras are developing as well, which has many uses. Their aura lets you know you're in the presence of a stronger wolf. They use it to command lower-ranking wolves, and it attracts sexual partners. A wolf's goal is to have a strong mate to procreate with. The higher the rank, the stronger the wolf. All of the girls in the pack noticed and started throwing themselves at these guys. I think my brother has been out with a different girl every night since they have been back. Pretty sure the noises from his room late at night are him entertaining a few as well. It's kind of gross to think of my brother like that, but all of them seem to have become menres. They aren't the only ones, just the most notorious. Let's just say the janitor's closet gets a lot of use by the student population. I guess, though, if you can't beat them, join them, and these girls are willing participants. It was kind of sad, really. We all have fated mates chosen for us by the moon goddess. I can't imagine messing around and possibly gaining feelings for someone who might not be mine. That would suck to have them be all like I love you. You're the only person, and then have the mate bond kick in with someone else, and be kicked to the curb. I've seen it a few times here in the pack. It looks miserable. We can always take a chosen mate, and some packs do that for the higher-ranking members. Claiming bloodlines make the pack stronger, but I think the moon goddess has other plans, and we are strongest with our given mate. I'm waiting around for mine. Are you even King listening to me? I shake my head of my random thoughts and look back at Kaylee. Not really. Just leave the little kids alone. They don't understand or care about your expensive shoes, or that your friends can't walk in theirs and need to be given a wide berth, I say with as bored a tone as I can. The more emotions I show, the longer the beatings last. Besides, your clumsy friend is the reason that pup tripped in the first place. But I don't see you beating her down. Pick on people your own size, was my retort, which earned me another slap. More blood runs from my lip. Just great. Something I'll have to hide at home for the next couple hours until it heals. At least I have my wolf to help now last year, trying to hide the bruises and cuts I got from Callie, and her girls was really hard. My father doesn't pay much attention to me. He doesn't even know I got my wolf at the end of 8th grade, right after my brother and all the guys. But he did notice the first time Kaylee left marks on my arms and a small bruise on my cheek. He only noticed my arm when we had to make an appearance with the Alpha, and I had a short-sleeved dress on. He wasn't as concerned for my health as he was his reputation as the Beta with his daughter getting into fights and causing trouble with pack members, or worse, being too weak to defend myself in training. He wouldn't even listen to what happened. He sent me to my room without dinner and kept me home from school the following day until the bruise faded completely. It's not that my father hates me. That's a lie. I don't want him to hate me. But he blames me for my mother's death. He's never said it directly to my face, but he rarely says anything directly to me. I have heard him make comments to others, though. She died in childbirth with me, and I don't think he ever got completely over the loss of his mate. According to the nanny I had up until last year, I look just like her, and that probably makes him a little sad at the constant reminder. My brother was better with me. We used to be really close. We're not even a year apart, but ever since he started his training to become the next beta a couple years ago, he barely makes time for me, not even at school. They both put their duty to the pack and their alphas above everything else, including their personal lives. That, along with Kaylee and her girls, making sure everyone knows if they even talk to me, in what could be considered a friendly manner, she will find a way to punish them and me. My last year of middle school and now high school is shaping up to be pretty lonely. I just have to keep my head down, my grades up, and train hard to get into warrior training and out of this pack. This wasn't my first run-in with Kaylee this year, and we have only been in school for 2 weeks. But this is where things really started to take a turn for me. Kaylee, Jeannie, and Marnie find some way to torture me every single day after that. Some days it's small things like taking a book out of my hands and shredding it all over the hallway, while kids just stand around and watch, or the time they pulled my 10-page essay out of the pile we were handing forward in English and tearing it into small pieces and handing it back to me with a whoops. I had it saved on my computer, so I was able to reprint it, but the teacher marked it late and gave me only half credit even though she watched what happened. My father punished me for being lazy when he found out I handed in an assignment late, again, not wanting to even hear my side of the story. I spent the weekend locked in my room with no meals. It's times like that when I really miss Mary. She would have snuck me something, even a granola bar. My brother was nowhere in sight when my father was berating me in the kitchen after school that day. Since Mary left, he no longer has to pretend to watch out for me, even with our father. Other times, it was physical. Pulling my hair and shoving me into doors and walls is a common favorite. In class, overly full backpack managed to knock me in the head at least once every class, which is why I try to be the last in and the first out when I can help it. She made sure no one ever hit me where marks could be easily seen. I'm pretty sure I have a couple ribs that have been broken so many times. A good sneeze would probably re-break them. I won't let my wolf waste energy on healing the small stuff. It's not worth it. But she makes sure that I'm not in pain for long, though. She really is great. Her running commentary on the 3 Barbie wannabes help lift my mood, especially after some of the more harsh beatdowns. Kaylee knows I won't let her harm kids in the school, especially the younger ones. She uses this as a way to get to me daily. My wolf and I have both decided this is for the best, though. Even when she has the strongest kids beat on me, my beta lineage can handle it, and we heal faster than Callie thinks. It seems to keep her and her friends pacified to take their frustrations out on me, and from targeting other kids in the school. As long as she thinks I'm isolated from everyone, and let her pawns target me, she is happy. Which means her friends are happy, and there is peace in the school. If you can call a calm, raving lunatic peace. Having my wolf made things less lonely. We figured out how to get out of my room without my father knowing. We hunt for food when he keeps it from me. It's not so bad. I know that I can survive on my own and in the wild. Which sounds nice some days. That's what I thought until a new girl showed up mid-November. She joined us at our mandatory 5 AMPAC training. All kids in high school were required to train every morning before school to learn to protect themselves, even if you were not a warrior. As we got older, the training was divided up into basic training for all pack members, intermediate training for patrols, and advanced training for our elite warriors, Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta, and their mates. The ranked members were the most targeted, so they trained the most. They are also our strongest, so they tend to be on the front lines of an attack. I loved training and went to everyone I was allowed to attend. Much to my brother's irritation, I was allowed to go to everything being a beta by blood. He would always give me dirty looks when I made eye contact with him. I don't know why it bothered him, and I didn't really care. I kept my distance from him and all the guys, and just did my own thing. I was only one of 2 females who chose to come to the extra trainings. Kara was a senior and was only here because her father, one of our elite warriors, made her. She came, trained, didn't talk to anyone, and left. The rest of the females were mates of our current leadership or warriors. The Luna was very nice and a great fighter. She always kept me on my toes, and she and the other females would share stories and insights while we were sparring. I didn't usually get to spar with the males during the elite training. The dads, including mine, were more interested in teaching their protégés. My dad actually did not even acknowledge I was there. But the Luna and the female warriors had some great tips on how to use my small size to my advantage, because many guys underestimate a woman in a fight. It amazed me how short-sighted the guys could be. They cherished their mates, praised our female warriors, and were fiercely protective, but in the end, their actions showed they thought their ideas were better than a female's, and that they were the true protectors of the pack. Training was the only time I didn't have to worry about Callie, Jeannie, and Marnie, or any of their other minions messing with me. They weren't dumb enough to cause the kind of scenes with me that they usually did with the future alphas, my brother, and the rest of the future leaders watching. I could be free and be myself, in the back where no one could see me. I've often thought about doing warrior training following school. I even started running the patrol route around the territory in the mornings, before training or after school, if I need to avoid people or my house. We don't have a lot of rogue attacks, but they do happen, and our border patrol keeps us in close contact with neighboring packs in times of need. I have enjoyed getting to know the patrol warriors and learning what they do as the first line of defense for our pack. I am a good student, but that is more due to the pressure my dad puts on me to act like my high rank than actually being smart or caring about school. I also have a ton of free time since I don't hang out with anyone. Kaylee has made sure that no one wants to associate with me on pain of social suicide. I was pulled from my thoughts as the lead trainer brought us all in and explained what we were going to do today, and then casually said we have a new member joining us. She is here with her uncle and aunt while her parents are working for the Alpha King. That got everyone's attention, including Kaylee, who somehow managed to sit on the sidelines in her short dress and heels, clearly not participating today, like every other day, but she actually showed up today. I still haven't figured out how she gets out of mandatory training. This tall girl walked in like she owned the place. Her confident stature was what caught my eye first. Her youthful, carefree face, long, dark brown hair, and bright, golden honey eyes told me she couldn't be much older than me, but the way she held herself and how the eyes of every guy at training followed her very developed and toned body made me smile at the thought of how the Barbies were going to take having competition. I must have made a noise out loud, since she turned around and looked right at me. Delta Kyle told her she could join the group, and we would get her up to speed on what we were working on. Oh no! She walked right up to me and held her hand out. Sierra, nice to meet you. I just stared at her, blinking. It took me a second to register what I was supposed to do. She raised her eyebrow at me for my hesitation or complete lack of manners before I caught on. Oh, sorry, Skylar. I shook her hand. I'm not used to people talking to me. I muttered out awkwardly and quickly let go of her hand, turning back to the front where Delta Kyle and the lead trainer were giving a few more instructions. Mentally smacking myself for sounding like an idiot. She looked at me questioningly, but before she could ask, our trainer divided us into pairs and had us start our warm-up and sparring. He must have decided I was as good a person as any to work with her since she chose me to talk to first, and he knows I attend all the trainings we have. Delta Kyle is one of the few people who knows that I want to train to get out of here, so he lets me come to the gym and training grounds whenever I want. He even gave me a key to the gate when I started showing up before him. Sierra was a really good fighter, but so was I. She's really tall compared to me. She has to be like 5'7", and my 5'1" stature can't compare. But we are built similarly, which helps with learning the new movements. Her black sports bra and leggings accentuate all the tan and defined muscles in her body. She could be a supermodel with her curves. I have muscles too, and I'm actually pretty defined, but I prefer to not show much skin. It helps hide the injuries, so I tend to appear overweight. Today, I have baggy sweatpants and t-shirt on. I also have a tank top on under the t-shirt. I learned the hard way my scars and bruising can be found in the heat of a match if I don't have layers. I don't want anyone to see them and pity me or pretend to try to help. It sounds stupid, and my wolf and I have gone around and around, but I don't want help from people who couldn't be bothered to help me when I was receiving the scars in the first place. It's easy for them to make themselves feel better by offering help or assistance, saying I just have to ask. But in reality, they are the same people who turn a blind eye, because their own self-preservation is more important than doing what's right. So I keep my pain hidden. I like to stay as invisible as possible, but I love sparring. I typically stick to the back of the training group and only work with warriors that are here to help Delta Kyle train. He has seen my separation from the group and, I'm sure, has an idea why. So he makes sure there is a warrior there to partner with me. I don't know if it's me or my beta blood, but the thrill and adrenaline rush of a good fight always makes my day better. I am actually a really skilled fighter, even though I let Kaylee and her minions beat me up. It's just better that she targets only me and not someone else who can't take the abuse. I don't fight back. I learned a long time ago that the beatdown goes quick if they get bored. And I don't get in trouble if I don't throw any hits at all, since those do seem to show up on videos and leave marks for a long time. Kaylee had a black eye for a week once, not long after I got my wolf. It was chalked up to my beta blood and a lucky swing. I didn't argue, but the punishment was terrible. I was suspended from school for the week, and my dad locked me in my room and told Mary she wasn't allowed to talk to me or feed me. She did neither of those things, and she made sure I had all of my work, and took my assignments to school for me so nothing was late. I wasn't giving anyone any more reasons to punish me. Delta Kyle and a few of the advanced pack warriors are walking around correcting form and giving feedback. Nice job, ladies. You both seem to be the first to grasp the concept I was trying to teach today, Delta Kyle says, then leans a little closer. Even the young alphas and beta didn't catch on as quickly, and they are still struggling. He whispers and winks at us. But don't tell them I said that. We both giggle, setting up to run the move again. You got it, Delta, I say. He knew the jab to my brother would make me smile. He's seen me work my tail off, even if he doesn't get the chance to help me as much outside of the group training we do here. I think that is my father's doing, making my brother and the other future leaders the priority, but I'm not actually sure. Delta Kyle acts more like my older brother than my actual older brother does. He's helped me hide a few of the more severe injuries I've gotten from the constant bullying, and he doesn't judge or ask too many questions. He and Luna Ava are the only people who know I got my wolf too. It's rare to get your wolf this young. Sometimes, ranked wolves will show up early if they are really strong. I think the moon goddess gave her to me to help me handle the trauma. As much as I love my wolf and appreciate her help, I wish the moon goddess would just make the bullying stop. Luna Ava has been helping me with shifting and working on the pack link. There is something to be said for being invisible. And just as I think that, Kyle smashes my thought process and completely ignores my need to stay unnoticed with his next words. I think a demonstration is in order. Sierra, Skylar, why don't you two show us how the new defensive move is supposed to look? He loudly, getting the attention of the whole group. Then he smiles at me and winks, and I just want to punch him in his pearly white teeth. I really don't like you. I say through the mind link. I know, but someone other than me has to see what kind of fighter you are, and your brother and the guys need a lesson in humility. They have been left alone for far too long. Humor me for 5 minutes. You get 2. I huff and move to face Sierra. She is smiling like I just brought her to her favorite candy store and told her she can have anything she wants. Oh, goody. She enjoys the attention. Ready. Delta Kyle's deep, authoritative voice booms over the crowd now circling around us. We take our positions. Sierra, you are on the attack. Skylar used the new defensive move, and let's see if you can pin her in less than 30 seconds this time. I hear mumbles of what? 30 seconds, no way, and giggles. That sets me and my wolf off. F-cock trying to be invisible. Arrogant F-fuckers think they are so great, when they can't even submit each other with basic moves. She grumbles. Shall we? I ask, my wolf. Oh, kiddo, I thought you'd never ask. She replies. I can feel just the smallest hint of her energy seeping into my muscles. I don't want to hurt Sierra, but if the boys need a lesson, they are going to get one. I hear a laugh and skeptical murmurs from somewhere in the crowd, but I am too focused on Sierra. My warrior instinct has kicked in, and the laughing jackass isn't a priority. No one could complete that move in under 30 seconds, let alone her. A snarky, high-pitched male voice says loud enough for everyone to hear and cause a low chorus of agreement. Now my blood is boiling, as is my wolf's. We are taking her down in less than 10, and I better not find out which pansy ass insulted us, or he's going down too. She clips out. I can feel my muscles vibrate with anticipation now. Just watch. Is Delta Kyle's only, very dry response. Set, G-O. I move immediately on the word. Go. I don't even give Sierra time to come at me. She responds quickly, though, and tries to feign to the left, then duck down to catch me with her shoulder. I'm too quick for her, and as she starts to duck down, I send a knee up toward her chest and face, knocking the wind out of her. As her body comes up from the momentum, I make an elbow strike to her back, and she reaches out to wrap her arms around my waist, trying to force me down. Instead of fighting the momentum, I allow it, but twist, so I fall on top of her and shift to pin her throat to the ground with one of my knees and have her arm in a lock she can't get out of. My eyes are locked on Sierra's. Hers are wide in amazement. Surprise, maybe. I'm not really sure. The first thing I notice is silence. Not even breathing can be heard. The next is a hand patting me on the back. I look up and see Delta Kylie beaming at me, looking like he is fighting off laughter. What is funny? I don't understand. Less than 10 seconds. Damn, sorry Sam, she beat your best takedown time. By a lot, Delta Kyle says, loud and clear, while he shrugs his shoulders at his son, laughing a bit now, not being able to hold it back. I stand up and help Sierra to her feet. Shh, tear fast. You're going to have to help me learn how to react like that, she says with a mischievous look in her eyes. I just nod, because what else is there to do? When she finds out where I fall in the high school pecking order, she will not want anything to do with me. I do notice the crowd is more subdued than usual at the end of training, but I also don't care so much. I took her down in under 10 seconds. I had to fight a smile. That is something that would for sure get me beat up. I'm not supposed to be good at anything. I grab my things and notice a presence beside me. Sierra is just following my lead, without a word. It's kind of weird, but I don't say anything. I just turn around and start walking. We head towards the locker room together. It's so strange to have someone walking next to me by choice. I really do want to know how you got that fast. And your moves are better than I have seen at some of the warrior camps back home. My eyes snap to hers, eyebrows furrowed. She's just being nice now. Okay. I really just train a lot, that's all. I didn't know her enough to tell her about getting my wolf so early, which is part of the reason I am so fast. Most kids get them sometime between sophomore and junior years. The young alphas and my brother and the rest of the guys all got theirs in the middle of their freshman year, which is typical for powerful, high-ranking wolves. I got mine at the end of my 8th grade year though, which is rare and had me freaking out. Since it wasn't that long after the guys, and even though I have beta blood, I'm not really a ranked member, nor am I likely to be one. When I told Delta Kyle, he brought me to Luna Ava, and she has been helping me ever since. Hey, Sky, here. I look over to see Delta Kyle jogging toward us with something small in his hand. Your shirt rode up a bit in the back. I think you opened up one of your more recent injuries. He looks at me expectantly, and I give him the same look back. I'm not having this conversation in front of the first non-adult to talk to me in years. The new girl doesn't know me, and I don't want to freak her out. I take the small container. Thank you, Delta. Is there anything else? His look tells me he doesn't appreciate my attitude. And yes, he has plenty more he wants to say. He crosses his massive arms over his chest, trying to look intimidating. The problem is, it works on everyone but me. Not now, okay? I promise I will explain later. I mind Link. I have to give him something, or he will keep hounding me. Fine, when I figure out who is doing this, there will be hell to pay. Which is why you won't find out. You have bigger things to worry about than petty school bullies, who are so weak they have to resort to silver powder to actually cause pain. He lets out an audible growl, and I can feel his Delta aura flow out from him. Everyone stops and looks at us. I should not have let that bit of information out. Everyone that is not an alpha, beta, gamma, or delta rank tilts their heads down and to the side in submission. My wolf feels the power and recognizes that he, as an adult with full rank, is more powerful than me, but my beta blood allows me to fight it. I do not break eye contact. He has no idea how strong my wolf makes me, but I can't submit. My wolf and my pride won't let me. I do notice that Sierra is also able to fight the full submission. Her chin is still raised, but her eyes are lowered in respect. I wonder what rank she is in her pack. What are high schoolers doing with silver powder? That is used as a more gruesome interrogation tactic and torture. You need to tell me who this is. Sky, Eno W. This is no longer a game. He is seething. I can feel it radiating off of him in waves. No. I handled it, and I won't have you causing more trouble by stepping in. It makes me look weak, and I'm already a target. You'll just make it worse. Every time someone tries to help, it only makes things worse. Before he could respond, I turned around and headed into the locker rooms to shower and get ready for school. Sierra just followed me and said nothing about the staring contest I just had with our head trainer. I went to my locker and grabbed my shower stuff. I take all of my things to the furthest cubicle and close the outside curtain. I set my clothes and towel on the bench in the little changing area just outside the shower stall before turning on the water as warm as my body could handle it and stepped in, closing the shower curtain. I like having the double barrier. I never change out in the open. I don't want anyone seeing the bruises and cuts on my body, especially now with the lashes on my back that are taking forever to heal because Kaylee rubbed silver powder in them after they whipped me. Kyle was right though. I could feel the sting of the hot water on the open wound and watched the blood flow down the drain, tinting the water pink. Once I was done showering, I reached my hand out of the curtain to grab my towel, not taking any chances at being seen, and wrapped myself up nice and tight. Once I felt like I was completely covered, I opened the curtain only to jump and yell, "Oh, damn!" Don't do that. Sierra just laughed at me, leaning against the wall like it was the most normal thing to invade someone's privacy in stealth mode. You forgot this, and you may need help putting it on. Some of those cuts are in hard-to-reach places. She whispers at me, and then twirls her finger, motioning me to turn around as if the discussion is over. I don't move, just stare at her. I am going to help you whether you cooperate or not, so it would save us some time if you just willingly let me help you. She just stares unblinkingly. I am not going to ask questions yet. Her determined look doesn't waver. Okay, help it is then. I loosened my towel and exposed my back where there were 15 lashes. The oldest 5 were from the 15 minutes of time I wasted asking a question in history class, causing us to take extra notes and have a pop quiz, even though our teacher mentioned the quiz the day before, making it a known quiz. There was no negotiating with a fuming Kaylee. The newest 10 happened at the end of last year, right after the guys got their wolves. I guess that upped their celebrity factor, and me asking my brother a question, while standing next to the rest of them, was too close a proximity. Apparently, it is a punishable crime to be in the personal space of people that are better than you. If Sierra was surprised or grossed out, she didn't say anything. She was super gentle, applying the cream to every cut on my back. There are a few here that are older, but the cream might help get rid of some of the scar tissue. I'm sure my parents could give us something more powerful. No, I am handling it, I promise. You don't need to tell your parents. Thank you, though. I didn't want to be rude. She was just trying to help. But I was not going to give Kaylee the idea that I was too weak to take her so-called punishments. And if I let Sierra talk to her parents about this, the possibility it gets back to the Alpha, and Luna, and who knows who else. The less people who know, the better it is for me. If you say so. Anyway, I need someone to show me around the school. You up for it? She changed the subject so abruptly that I almost got whiplash. Sure. Let me get dressed, then we can head over and get your schedule. She didn't take the hint to step out, and I was forced to awkwardly get dressed under my towel. I'm pretty sure she knows she's making me uncomfortable. We headed to the school, which was just a block away from the training grounds. I took Sierra to the main office and introduced her to the secretary, who got her all set up with her schedule, locker, and combination. Then we headed out to tour the school, since we were still about 45 minutes early. Most of the kids went home after training. I just found hanging with Delta Kyle or in the locker room kept me safe from Kaylee for a little while longer. I found out Sierra and I were in a few classes together. She's a year older than me, like the guys. But I was taking some advanced classes, which in my school just meant the next grade up. So our first 2 classes are together at least. That will make things way more fun. She says with a little happy chirp in her voice. You'll have to point out all of the people to know and who to stay away from. I don't think I'm the person to do that. I tend to keep to myself and blend into the background as much as possible. I am not popular at all and avoid the social scene like it is my job, I said, as we made it to the first class of the day and walked to the back of the room to take my usual seat. She just huffed in response, but didn't say anything and followed me back. The day actually went pretty smoothly. I didn't even have any run-ins with Kaylee and her crew. I wasn't sure if that was because of the display this morning at training or the new friend I seemed to have acquired. No one talked to me or really looked at me, but no one actively tried to do anything to me either. Either way, the break was nice, and I found myself smiling as I walked down the hallway to put my things in my locker at the end of the day. Of course, good things only last for small moments for me. You think you're so tough, being Delta Kyle's favorite suck-up? I bet that's not the only thing you suck. It's the only explanation for how you manage to gain his attention. I ignore Kaylee even though I am completely disgusted by her insinuation. I take a deep breath and continue shuffling things in my locker, hoping she will get bored and walk away, now that she has thrown her insult. She slams my locker shut. I'm just lucky my reflexes are fast, otherwise I would have lost fingers. But before she can spit whatever venom she has at me, Sierra walks up. Hey girl, I am so hungry and you promised me to hang out after school. Sierra completely ignores Kaylee's presence, and I catch the look of death Kaylee is throwing her way. I had to stifle a laugh. I almost forgot. Sorry. I was trying to make sure I had everything I needed to get my work done this weekend. I turn my back on Kaylee, and we take about 2 steps before she shouts, "Hey, new girl. You'll want to watch who you hang out with. Some people in this school will give you a bad reputation and only cause you problems." We both look back at her. Thanks for the tip. Sierra links her arm into mine and starts to turn us away again. I hear clicks of heels approaching us. "Listen here, you little hey guys." Kaylee's voice goes from venom to bubblegum in a flash, and I notice she's looking over our shoulders. A general bored mumble of hey comes from the group of guys walking our way. Seriously? I just want to melt into a wall. Damn, they're even hotter up close, Sierra says quietly to me, turning us around to face my brother and his friends as they walk up to us. I just roll my eyes at her. They have never approached me in school before, like ever. So I can only assume they are here for the beautiful brunette friend I have acquired today. I can't deny these guys are gorgeous, and unfortunately they all know it too. My brother, Mateo, and I look almost identical, with sandy blonde hair and gray-blue eyes, getting most of our looks from our mother. The only difference is his build is exactly like my father's, wide at the shoulders and narrow at the waist. He keeps his stick straight hair, military short on the sides and in the back, and longer on top. It looks like he ran his fingers through it a couple times to make it stick straight up, but somehow the look works for him. The future Delta, Sam, is Kyle's son. And he looks like he just stepped out of a Hurley surfing ad, with wavy, sun-kissed light blonde hair that hangs just below his ears, dark blue eyes, and lean muscles. He's tall, but not as wide-set as the other guys. But he is no less ripped, and one of the fastest warriors I have ever seen. Oliver, our future Gamma, looks like your stereotypical biker. Medium length, dark brown, almost black hair that falls forward, obscuring his face, and piercing brown eyes that are almost as dark. Give off a "don't mess with me" vibe. He has tattoos on both forearms and one on his chest, just peeking out of the collar of his shirt. He is the most quiet of the group, lending to the mysteriousness. His expression is regularly bordering on resting bee-teach face. Our future alphas are twins that could melt you with one glance, or maybe that was just me. They both had black hair with a gentle wave to it. They both kept their hair short on the sides and back like my brother. Cameron was always perfectly groomed. No curl on top of his head was out of place. His light green eyes softened his severely sharp features, though. Dakota let his curls do whatever they wanted on the top of his head. I had often wondered what it would be like to run my fingers through those soft curls. Dakota's baby blue eyes were more playful than his brother's. He was definitely the troublemaker of the two. Somebody must have said something, because Sierra elbowed me in the ribs. Oh, goddess, please let me not be drooling. I mentally facepalm myself. I'm sorry, what? I look around, having no idea what we were supposed to be talking about. I was just saying, nice moves at training today. Hopefully we'll get a chance to work on those again at advanced training, and you can give us some tips. Sam needs to redeem his top takedown time, Cameron says to me, smiling, and Dakota laughs, slapping Sam on the back. I just smile and nod, feeling a little dumbfounded. I have no idea how to respond. These guys have never talked to me more than in passing at my house before, and never at school, even though they have been friends with my brother for their whole lives and spend a ridiculous amount of time at my house. This is the longest interaction I have ever had with any of them. Hey, he. A weird, forced, high-pitched giggle comes from my left. I looked over and didn't even realize Kaylee was standing next to me. She reached out and put her hand on Cameron's chest. You're so funny, babe. Sam is one of the best warriors we have. I bet he could do that move with one hand tied behind his back. His dad was just being nice to Sierra and Skylar. Did she just choke on my name? She's never really used it before. I'm normally just the B word to her. It's not fair to wolves lower than you guys. Who is she calling a lower wolf? I can feel my muscles shake with my wolf's irritation. I look down at the ground and blink a few times to make sure my eyes aren't changing color, giving away that I have my wolf. Cameron takes a slow breath in and takes an almost imperceptible step back as his twin chimes in. Nope. I'm pretty sure Sam sucks and needs to start from the basics again. Maybe we should send him to train with the pups for the week. Dakota laughs out, and my brother joins him this time. So does Sierra, and I allow myself a giggle. I can't help it. Their laughs are infectious. This is the first time in a long time I have felt comfortable around my brother and his friends, and probably the first time ever in a public setting like school. I break eye contact and look away, taking a few deep breaths to settle my mind around that. I look back up at my brother. A sort of pained look flashes in my brother's eyes. I can't quite read. Does he not want to be over here talking to me? The thought that he doesn't want me shouldn't sting this bad, since it's really the only solid emotion I ever get from him, but my heart sinks into my stomach. I quickly break eye contact and look at the floor again. I don't want to earn more slaps for someone's weird fetish over my brother. As much as I enjoy making fun of your boy Sam here. She pats Sam's arm. Skylar promised me some food. We were just heading out to eat. If you will excuse us, gentlemen. Sierra basically pushes us through the wall of 6-foot-tall guys, like it was no big deal, and leads me toward the parking lot of the training grounds where she left her car this morning. I hear a huff behind us, but I'm not sure who it was and can't wait to get out of here as soon as possible. How do you already have a car? I ask, knowing she isn't 16 yet. I was able to get my license early, with special permission from the Alpha, of course. She winks at me. My parents were always so busy researching and working for the Alpha King that I needed a way to get around. As long as I don't go joyriding or do anything else stupid behind the wheel, I get to keep my license. She shrugs, like that is a totally normal thing. I have a feeling she can talk anyone into just about anything without putting much effort into it. Hey! A shout from behind us has us both turning around just before we get in her car. I almost forgot. Are you guys coming to the bonfire tonight? Sam comes jogging up to us. Sam's POV. She is here with her uncle and aunt, while her parents are working for the Alpha King. That got my attention. She who? Dad didn't say anything about any girl visiting the pack. Just as that thought flitted across my mind, the most drop-dead gorgeous girl struts onto the training grounds just ahead of my father. She knew how to make an entrance. She casually glanced around the crowd and then made her way to the opposite end, as the guys and I. She was clearly talking to someone I couldn't see, then turned around, giving her full attention to my dad and the other warriors training us today. Dad had gone over this new move with us a few days ago, so I wasn't really paying attention to the explanation. I was more interested in the new girl. Did you know a new girl was coming into the pack? I asked Dakota, who was closest to me. Dad and Mom said something about her doing her sophomore year here with us. Her parents work for the Alpha King and are on some kind of mission, so she's here with family. He just shrugs. I call dibs. The girls around here are needy and boring. I'm over them. You call dibs, huh? What if she doesn't want your ugly ass? Then what? Oliver shoves my shoulder. No way, I'm the best looking out of all of us. If anyone is going to get her attention, it's me, I reply, not taking my eyes off her. Wanna bet? Mateo asks. Depends. What are the stakes? Get her to come to the bonfire tonight, but it can't be a date, Mateo starts. She has to show up on her own, Dakota adds. And you have to be the first guy she talks to, Oliver supplies. And you can't approach her until she does. Cameron finished. That means I am going to have to keep the leeches busy. She'll never come talk to me with our usual stalkers hanging around. Damn, they were not going to make this easy. Time's a-wastin'. Dakota points to his wrist, where a watch would be. Fine, I'm in. But if I win, none of you can poach her. Deal, they all said in unison. Now I just have to get her attention. Well, she seems to be pretty fit, so maybe I can work my way over and get my dad to pair her with me. As I turn to move in that direction, I see Dad's second pair her with Mateo's sister. Man, that girl is tiny. If they didn't look alike, you wouldn't know they were related. Mateo is outgoing and takes his job as the next beta very seriously, almost too seriously. Sky is super shy and keeps to herself. I bet being the second born, her beta blood just isn't as strong as Mateo's. I beat every one of these clowns with this move yesterday. Today is just going to be a repeat of their embarrassment. We each take it in turns to spar, really just going through the motions. We only show up to these training sessions to set a good example, as the alpha tells us. If we don't show, why should anyone else? Even though we do so much extra training outside of these, but no one knows about it really. So I guess I get the whole set and example thing. We really just use this time to watch the trainers train and see how they lead a large group. My dad's loud voice breaks through my thoughts. I think a demonstration is in order. Sierra, Skylar, why don't you two show us how the new defensive move is supposed to look? What the hell? The guys and I move into the circle, forming around Skylar and Sierra. Now I know her name at least. What gets me is the very noticeable size difference between her and Skylar. This cannot be a fair fight. Why would my dad use them as demonstrators? The guys and I have been working on this for a couple days now. Why use two girls who probably just figured out the basic movements? Skylar seems to be having a staring contest with my dad. She must be thinking the same thing, that she's going to be embarrassed in front of all these people, and she's shy as it is. I can hear some of the kids in the crowd jeering stupid comments. I feel Mateo stiffen next to me. He's sensitive and protective about his sister. Their mom died giving birth to her, and their dad hasn't gotten over losing his mate. Mateo spends a lot of time keeping his dad busy, so he will leave Skylar alone. I think that is part of the reason she is introverted, but she just looks soft and fragile. Her baggy clothing makes her appear smaller than she is. I didn't even realize she was at training. Ready. My dad's deep, authoritative voice booms over the crowd now circling around us. The girls take their positions and more chuckles and jeers can be heard. Sierra, you are on the attack. Skylar. Use the new defensive move and let's see if you can pin her in less than 30 seconds this time. This time? What does he mean this time? The kids around me clearly are on the same page as me. I look at Mateo and the guys. Their confusion is just as apparent as mine is. I hear mumbles of, what? 30 seconds, no way, and giggles. No one could complete that move in under 30 seconds, let alone her. A snarky, high-pitched male voice says loud enough for everyone to hear, and causes a low chorus of agreement. What this idiot doesn't know is I did that yesterday. Moron. I need to figure out who it is and pair with him. I can see both of the girls are laser-focused on each other, a determined look in their eyes. They both look like warriors on a mission. Just watch, is my dad's only, very dry response. Set Geo. Skylar moves immediately on the word go. Where the F did that speed come from? Sierra responds quickly though, and tries to feign to the left, then duck down to catch Skylar with her shoulder. Skylar sends a knee up toward her chest and face, knocking the wind out of her, then makes an elbow strike to her back. Sierra wrapped her arms around Skylar's waist, trying to force her down. Instead of fighting the momentum, Skylar does with the momentum, and twists, so she falls on top of Sierra and shifts to pin her throat to the ground with one of her knees, and has her arm in a lock Sierra can't get out of. In the blink of an eye, it's over and the crowd is silent. Skylar is still in fight mode, focused on Sierra's face. My dad walks up to her and has to pat her on the shoulder a couple of times to get her attention. Once Skylar lets go of Sierra and helps her up, my dad looks over to where the guys and I are standing. staring, probably with our jaws on the ground. He looks at his stopwatch, then back up to us, smiling. Why is he smiling like that? Less than 10 seconds, damn. Sorry, Sam. She beat your best takedown time. By a lot, he says loud and clear while he shrugs his shoulders at me, laughing a bit now, not being able to hold it back. The cock. What just happened? Oliver says behind me. It was a blur. I think I blinked and missed half the fight. Cameron says seriously. Sam's not the king of the hill anymore. That little bitty beta just took his crown. Dakota laughs at me. I'm still in shock, but I can't help joining him. I think I know my way in with Sierra. My dad walks over and pats me on the shoulder. Maybe you boys will take this training a bit more seriously now. Those two are your biggest competition, and you didn't even know it. I may let Sky put all of you in your place. He chuckles, walking off. She's the best trainee I've got, including you guys. He throws over his shoulder, and Sierra's going to be a close second. That was the hottest thing I think I have seen since summer training. I think the girl from summer training was gay and thought you were a pansy. Dakota laughs at me. It doesn't make two girls grappling any less hot. No. You are not going to put my little sister on your I'd bang that list. Mateo growls at us. Your sister is growing up, my friend. I don't think those baggy sweats are doing her any favors. And watching her rolling around with Sierra, I'm going to have sweet, sweet dreams tonight. Sam's POV. Come here, you fucker. Mateo gets me in a headlock for a second before I wiggle free and take off running toward the truck. We all just ride together and get ready at the pack house before school. Even though we are all neighbors, we've been doing it so long now that it's just a habit. We all joke with Luna Ava about building an extension onto the twins' floor and just letting us all move in since we spend so much time there anyway. I noticed that Sierra stuck to Skylar like glue all day today, even when they didn't have classes together. I also realized that Skylar took a bunch of classes with us, even though she is a year younger than we are in school. How I did not notice she was there before baffles me. How long has Sky been taking advanced classes? I asked Mateo as we walked into the lunchroom. It was really hard to just walk across the room without being flagged down or stopped by people. Most of these kids just wanted something from us. It's kind of annoying to have people follow you everywhere just because of the family and rank you were born into. A lot of kids think that if they hang out with us, that makes them better than others, so the 5 of us pretty much keep to ourselves here at school. It seems to be the only safe option. As we got older, we noticed that people would eavesdrop on conversations and then start rumors. Girls would lie about being with us. It was kind of scary, really, so we can't really be ourselves here. Not sure why? She's in like half our classes, and I didn't even notice until today. We've been in school for a week. How did I miss that? Seriously? I didn't know she was in classes with us. Which ones? All the standards, I think. She's not in leadership or battle strategies. But once I noticed her in English and math with Sierra, I kinda noticed her everywhere. It was a little scary. Please tell me you have not switched your focus to my sister. I don't think I could handle that. She's too innocent for any of that. He groans at me. No, I say pointedly, but I will keep telling you how hot she is, because she is hot. She does a good job of hiding it, though. Mateo groans as we grab our lunches and head out to a table at the back of the outdoor patio. It's still pretty nice out, so we soak up as much outdoor time as we can. What's your plan for Sierra? Clock's ticking, bro. Bonfires tonight. Dakota laughs as he shoves a forkful of food into his mouth. Don't you worry about me. I have the situation handled. What you need to worry about is how none of us noticed Sky is in most of our classes, and not even her big, overprotective brother knew that until today. We spent the rest of lunch trying to figure out not noticing Sky. I tried to get her attention in science and in history, but she either really liked her notebook or was actively avoiding us. I was hoping to get Sierra in on the action since they seemed to be friendly, but I have to find another tactic until I can figure Sky out. As luck would have it, Skylar and Sierra were talking to the 3 people we dislike most in this whole school. All 5 of us groan, but this might be the last chance I get to invite Sierra, so I suck it up and head in their direction. At least the guys came to back me up with the psycho leeches. Hey guys. Of course Kaylee sees us first. I think that girl might have tracking devices on us. We each sigh out a groan as we approach them. I'm not sure what they were talking about, but Skylar looks flustered, and Sierra is trying to hide annoyance. I'm just not sure if she is annoyed with us or Kaylee. I choose to ignore the princess wannabe and look right at Sierra. You are a hard girl to keep track of. It's nice to finally get to meet you, Sierra. I'm Sam. This is Cameron, Dakota, Mateo, and Oliver. I point to the guys in turn. Wait, are you Delta Kyle's Sam? The one with the record Skylar broke? She smiles at me, and I am a goner. She could have asked me to kiss Oliver, and I would if she kept smiling at me like that. The same. You two had nice moves this morning. Skylar, I didn't know you were such a good fighter. Where have you been hiding all your skills? Skylar is just looking between all of us, not quite scared, but not focused on the conversation at all. Sierra bumps her in the ribs. I'm sorry. What? She looks up at me, full confusion written on her face. Her cheeks tinge a cute shade of pink. Oh man, that is a dangerous thing. I'm going to spend as much time as I can making her blush. She better watch out. I was just saying, nice moves at training today. Hopefully we'll get a chance to work on those again at advanced training, and you can give us some tips. Sam needs to redeem his top takedown time, Cameron says, smiling, and Dakota laughs, slapping me on the back. She just smiles and nods. Why is she so shy around us? She has known us her whole life. He. A weird, forced, high-pitched giggle comes from next to the girls. I looked over and didn't even realize Kaylee was still standing there. She reached out and put her hand on Cameron's chest. You're so funny, babe. Sam is one of the best warriors we have. I bet he could do that move with one hand tied behind his back. His dad was just being nice to Sierra and Skylar. I don't know why she won't take the hint that she isn't part of this conversation. No one can be that dense, can they? Cam steps back out of Kaylee's reach. She's always petting him for some reason. It's just weird. Nope. I'm pretty sure Sam sucks and needs to start from the basics again. Maybe we should send him to train with the pups for the week. Dakota laughs out, and Mateo joins him. So does Sierra, and Skylar lets out this adorable giggle. I catch Oliver in my peripherals, and the faintest smile forms on his face at the little noise. I think we found the crack in my stoic friend's armor. As much as I enjoy making fun of your boy Sam here. She pats my arm and I almost start hyperventilating. Skylar promised me some food. We were just heading out to eat, if you will excuse us, gentlemen. Sierra basically pushes us out of their way, and we part like the Red Sea to let them pass. I'm so lost watching Sierra walk away from me and letting my brain go to places it really shouldn't in public when Dakota slaps my shoulder. I'm so glad you used that opportunity to your full advantage. My brain is still stuck on stupid while my eyes are stuck on her perfect ass. She's getting away without your invitation. Oliver stage whispers in my ear. What? Wait. Oh, she. I start jogging as my friends just laugh behind me. We'll see who has the last laugh. Hey! I shout from behind them. I almost forgot. Are you guys coming to the bonfire tonight? I slow my jog towards them to try and make it look more casual than frantic. Skylar POV. What bonfire? Sierra looks at me accusingly. I shrug my shoulders. I don't do parties because I don't have friends. So I don't usually pay attention to the social scene. I look down at the ground after that word vomit confession. Taking a deep breath, I look back up at Sierra. I wonder when she's going to figure out I am not someone to know, and she'll move on like everyone else. Sam looks at me and chuckles a bit, but then quickly turns confused when I don't join in laughing, then looks between the two of us. He clears his throat. We have a bonfire the weekend following the first full week of classes, which happens to be tonight. You should both come. It's in the clearing in the woods behind the pack house. Nothing too crazy, but it is tradition. Will you come? Please say you'll be there. He's looking at Sierra with big puppy dog eyes. Is he pouting? Of course. We can't break tradition. Her cheery personality shines through. Is there a dress code for this particular get-together, or is it come as you are? She smiles up at him. So, this is what flirting looks like up close. Interesting. She definitely does it better than Kaylee. I think I get the appeal now. He looks a little lost for a second before blinking and coming back to his senses. Come as you are, but I would dress warm. It's already starting to cool off, and the clearing is in a bit of a valley that holds the cooler air. What time? We are going to start setting everything up now, so you can come whenever. But the bonfire is lit near dark, so like 9. But really you can come whenever. He smiles at Sierra. It's really cute to watch him flirt. I don't even know if he realizes that's what he's doing. She seems to have him under a spell. Well then, we will see you later, Sam. She smiles at him again, and she gets into her car. I follow suit. Once we are both in, and the doors are closed, she looks over at me. Okay? I was just trying to get us away from the B-Teach trio and the Hot Brigade. But after all of that, I really am hungry. Where's the best burger place here? The Hot Brigade? Really? I question her, shaking my head. She just laughs as she starts the car. I laugh and start giving her directions. We eat and head to her place, which just so happens to be at the end of our block. I didn't realize your aunt and uncle were some of our lead warriors. That would explain your fighting skills. I guess I never really asked about you today. Sorry about that. I look down at my lap as I sit on her bed as she digs through her closet. Don't worry about it. We have plenty of time to get to know each other. And what I want to know right now is, what do you mean you don't do parties? Because you don't have friends. You're not going to just slide that into conversation and hope no one heard it. I cringe. After I said it, I felt like I was whining. Exactly that. I do not have friends. I don't go to parties. No one chooses to hang out with me. They mostly choose to avoid me. It's been like that for a long time. You are the first person I have had more than one conversation in a row that wasn't in school about an assignment or at training. I shrug. It's weird though, when I used to think that stuff to myself, it hurt. But I feel nothing now. Like I am numb to the fact that I am avoided unless absolutely necessary by my peers. That can't be good. That's a lot to unpack, and I have a feeling the silver-laced whip marks on your back fall into this same story too. Right? Wait, what? How did you know they were silver-laced whip marks? I'm stunned. That's oddly specific knowledge to just guess. And I told Delta Kyle by accident over MindLink today. No one else knows. I will allow the topic to change, but we are going to circle back to the friends thing. My parents are chemists. I already told you they work for our Alpha King. Many of the things they work on are chemical weapons and antidotes for war. I flinch at the thought that her parents make things to harm other wolves. Things like the silver powder that was rubbed into my wounds. Don't look at me like that. They aren't bad people, but they have seen bad things. It's their job to know the worst things that could be done to our alphas and the Alpha King, and be able to stop it or reverse it. Sometimes they have had to reverse engineer some of the things used in battles. That's one of the reasons I am here. My parents are on some mission I don't even have details about. It wasn't safe for me to be alone, but it would be odd if I stayed with people in my pack for too long, since I normally stay by myself when they travel. So staying with family was the best cover for my protection. She leans back out of her closet and attempts to glare at me, but her happy features don't really do that look. This goes without saying, but keep that to yourself. You just met me. Why would you trust me with that information? Because you have been taking beatings for something you didn't do, and clearly no one knows. And those who suspect can't get the truth out of you. You have integrity and loyalty, though your lack of self-interest concerns me a bit. She giggles. So tell me, why is someone using some of the worst forms of torture on you? You don't strike me as a boyfriend stealer, a cheater, or a liar. Which means you are a threat, and I think you don't even know it. I'm not sure what I did to gain the constant negative attention, but the who isn't important. It started when I stepped in to protect another younger student from some bullying, and it has just escalated over time. I shrug. Is that the same line Delta Kyle let you get away with too? She raises an eyebrow, but she is still smiling at me. Maybe. I shrug again and look at my lap. I feel like she is just warming up, and I am really going to have to choose my words carefully with her. She could be an interrogator. So, back to the no friends thing. Care to explain? She tries on her third coat and is twirling in front of her full-length mirror. From what I have seen, you are great and genuine, and I am an excellent judge of character. She huffs and throws the coat into a pile on the chair of her vanity and goes back in her closet. It's complicated, and it's just easier to not get close to people with everything going on. I don't want anyone else as a target just because they decided to be friends with me. My brother will take the next beta title, and I will take whatever rank my mate gives me. I'm nothing special, and don't have anything to offer. You'll see. The only reason you lasted this long is because you are new and haven't figured out the teen hierarchy here. You are gorgeous and have already gotten the attention of my brother and his friends. I let thee and you'll move on and forget me thought hang in the air. You have not met any real friends then. This B-teach won't scare me away, and the way I saw you fight today, I'm surprised you let anyone treat you poorly, let alone physically harm you. She grabs a hat that matches the bright red peacoat she chose and does another twirl in the mirror. I can't believe that your alphas or even your brother haven't stepped in. I told you it's complicated. They don't know about stuff like the whipping, and anything else is not worth their time. If I can't fight my own simple battles, I'm not worth the time or the effort. I'm a beta by blood, and should be strong enough to handle my problems without running to them with every little problem. Some levels of minor bullying are tolerated by my brother and his friends. It's a survival of the fittest mentality. Then they are all DAKs, and not worthy of leading, in my opinion. But they probably don't know half of what you put up with based on the scars you carry on the outside. The inside scars, though, they wouldn't have a clue. They're guys. That's just stupid territory for them. I couldn't help but laugh, long and hard. She wasn't wrong. The emotional turmoil in my head was worse than anything that has been done to me physically. So let's make you look and feel as hot as you are tonight, and see what we can find out from these boys. Wait, what are you talking about? I am not hot, and what do you want to find out from which boys? Now I was scared. She was looking at me like a predator looks at its prey. I saw how each of those boys looked at you today, at training and again, after school. You are not as invisible as you may think, and I am going to prove it to you. Even your brother was impressed at training. I doubt that. My brother, like my dad, only focuses on the position and job, and I do not fall into that category, so I am not noticeable. But you are cute for thinking that. I'm still dressing you up hot tonight. There's no getting out of it. I roll my eyes. This might be the worst of the torture yet. How hot can you be wearing a coat and hat? You are ridiculous. I giggle at her as she drags me in her closet. 2 hours later, we are walking from Sierra's place down our shaped block. I have a bright blue coat on, a t-shirt and dark-washed jeans. My blonde hair tied on my head in a ponytail and black combat boots. She added light makeup and insisted on this pale pink lip gloss. The block housed all of the ranked members of the pack. Our driveways all make the center of the U, and our well-manicured backyards fan out to a forest line all the way around. It is great if you want to go for a quick run, and part of the reason I have been able to hide my shifting from my brother and my dad. At the center was the main pack house, where Alpha, Lucas, Luna, Ava, Cameron, and Dakota live. To the right of them is the Beta house, where Dad, Mateo, and I live. To the left of the pack house is the Gamma house, where Gamma, Brett, and Oliver live. Next to the Gamma house is the Delta house, where Delta, Kyle, Gwen, and Sam live. There is a house next to the Delta's housing an elite warrior named Ben and his young family, and 2 houses next to mine, also housing elite warriors. One of which I now know is Sierra's aunt and uncle. I know them all on site, but we don't interact much outside of training. I basically keep myself from everyone, just in case. Kaylee has shown more than once, C will go after people who appear close to me. And if I fight back, she will harm a pack member in some way. And it tends to be the pups. And I just can't have that. No one's children need to get hurt because she is mad at me for whatever reason. Back in the spring, before I got my wolf and my fast reflexes, she was trying to get me to give her the answers to the history test she couldn't be bothered to study for because she was too busy chasing Cameron and Dakota. I refused. She got a terrible grade and she told me I would pay. I don't know if she chose Ben's daughter on purpose or at random, but her 2 friends, and some random Omega guy grabbed the girl, covered her head with some kind of bag, and dragged her to the side of the school, and the guy stomped on her leg and broke it. They sent me the video anonymously with the message, "Next time, choose better." They covered their tracks pretty well. No one spoke, and nothing but the guy's lower leg, hands, and the girl was in the video. I took it to my dad, but when he went to look at it, the message and video was gone. He accused me of wanting to be mixed up in the drama of high schoolers, and jealous of the attention the popular girls were getting with the boys, amongst other insults to my intelligence. That's when I stopped going to him for my troubles or advice altogether. He only pretended to listen to me most of the time anyway, more focused on his files and paperwork and whatever else he did for the Alpha. I don't even eat in the dining room with him and my brother. When I had a nanny, I would eat with her in her suite unless we had company. It was always that way, and I didn't question it until after 7th grade she was dismissed, and I was deemed old enough to look after myself. Unfortunately, no one told me. I went to her suite to get food, but it was empty. I searched the house and found my father and brother in the formal dining room with a full spread of food. The only thing my father said was that she was needed for a more important child, and I shouldn't interrupt dinner again. Neither said anything or came to check on me after I ran from the room crying. I eat in the kitchen with our cook now and help her with the cleanup when we are done. She doesn't question it, but I can see the pity in her eyes when she looks at me. I hate the pity more than I hate being alone. I didn't realize how lost in my thoughts I am until Sierra nudged me. "Hey, where have you been the last 10 minutes?" I blink, trying to shake the memory from my head and wrap it around what I'm about to do. "I don't know if I can do this," I finally blurted out. I wasn't lying before. I really have no friends, and none of the people here like me, or want to interact with me. I should just go. You will have a better time without me. I go to turn around. Not a chance. And you are wrong. You do have a friend, me. She places her hand dramatically on her chest. And I would have a terrible time fighting Kaylee without you. You deserve to put that B-teach in her place, or at least witness someone doing it secretly on your behalf. She winks at me. I just raise my eyebrows at her. How did she know Kaylee was my problem? Not even Kyle has figured it out, and he knows most of the stuff she's done to me. I don't know what you mean? Really, you're going to try and lie to me? You don't have to confirm it out loud, but I already told you I am an excellent judge of character, and she is a social climbing wannabe who couldn't fight her way out of a paper bag with a map and GPS. I could give two chess teas about her pretend status and influence. I'm an exchange student, only here for a year. What is she going to do, get me expelled? I'd like to see her try. Technically speaking, I'm the Alpha King's Gamma's only child. No one here but the Alpha outranks me. She can kiss my ass. My eyes went wide and I tried to open my mouth to say something, but nothing would come out. How do you respond to something like that? Okay, you win. Just know her dad is on the school board and several kids have gotten in trouble or suspended just for accusing her of things or being in my vicinity. People have also been hurt because of her hatred of me. I don't want you risking anything just to prove a point. I'm not worth that, and I can handle what she throws at me. It feeds her superiority complex and keeps her attention away from harming anyone else in the pack, and protecting them is the most important thing. I look her straight in the eyes to make sure she knows that I am serious. She grabs my shoulders. You are worth it. I don't know where you got that idea from, but for being as smart as you are, that is the dumbest thing you have said all day. Now let's go. We have hot boys to flirt with and A.B. teach to taunt. I have a feeling I am going to regret this night so much. I take a deep breath in and let it out slowly. Fine, let's do this, but you cannot let me make a fool out of myself. This is not my scene at all. I have no idea what I'm doing. Don't worry, I've got you. And from the looks your brother's friends were giving you, I don't think you could make a fool out of yourself. She winks at me. Now lead the way. The sun is starting to go down. Boys playing with fire all manlike is something I can't miss. I couldn't help the eye roll this time. Sierra was legitimately crazy. Boy crazy, and there was no stopping this train now that I am on it. I led her along the path around the pack house into the backyard. The Luna does such a great job making her garden so pretty. I wish we had flowers like this, but my dad thinks it is impractical and refuses to let me do it, or pay someone to do it. But the Luna lets me sneak over and read in one of the many secluded areas back here whenever I want. She even keeps some of my favorite wildflowers in the planters and a hammock in one of the nooks. It's a great escape from my house when it feels too big and empty. Skylar, it's so nice to see you. Are you joining the boys for their bonfire? Speak of the devil. Hi, Luna Ava. How are you? The guys did invite us, if that's okay. I was suddenly unsure of how all of this works. I've never been invited to a party, and certainly didn't expect the Luna to be sitting on her back patio when we got here. This is my friend Sierra. She is staying with warriors Robert and Stephanie for the year. She's in the same grade as Mateo and the twins. Now I can't seem to stop talking. Why am I nervous? This woman has been the closest thing to a mom I have ever known. Hello, Sierra. It's nice to meet you. You must be the one that sparred with our Skylar here this morning. You both are the talk of the warriors today. Isn't that right, dear? She looks over her shoulder with a smile that lets me know she is implying something, but I'm not sure what. I didn't even realize that the Alpha was out here too. Man, what happened to my observation skills all of a sudden? You got that right. He sits up from his reclined position. His gruff laugh contrasts with his thick eyebrows and natural stern look. None of my warriors have been able to beat your takedown time, including Delta Kyle and Gamma Brett. He laughed to himself again. Trust me, they tried for a solid 3 hours, changing up who they each fought and everything. We have a few bruised egos being nursed tonight. He smiles as he relaxes back in his chair, like he is savoring the joke. Sierra laughed next to me. That is amazing. And thank you again, Alpha and Luna, for letting me spend the school year here. I really do appreciate it. Not a problem, dear. Clearly, it was the right choice. The Luna winked at us. You had better be on your way, or all the good seats next to the fire will be gone." She wiggled her eyebrows at us, and I have no idea what that was supposed to mean. But Sierra clearly did as she grabbed my arm and started to drag me away. We followed the path of little twinkling lights through the woods and walked about 10 minutes before we could hear voices and see the warm glow of the fire. We walked through a small crowd of people. I'm not sure if it was invite only or just upperclassmen or what, but there were only about 30 people milling about. Maybe it was just early still. I have no idea what to expect or what I am doing, so I just follow Sierra since she seems to have a destination in mind. When we walk a little further around the very large fire, I can see where she is leading us. My brother and his friends are posted up on the far side of the clearing, guarding what look like coolers. We barely stepped around the fire, and as soon as we were visible, Sam shouted, "You made it. Finally, we have been waiting forever." The other 4 guys snapped their heads our way. That earned us some looks from the surrounding crowd. I am for sure out of place here based on the looks we are getting, and Sierra either doesn't notice or doesn't care. I'm guessing doesn't care. "Hello, boys. We are right on time." "Don't be dramatic, Sam." She smiles at him as we walk closer. "Wow, you both look great. Do you want a drink? We have water, soda, beer, take your pick." He is far too eager and it's kind of cute. "I'll start with water, Skylar." Sierra looks back at me. I think she took the safe option for me, so I wouldn't feel so out of place, and I am grateful for it. She must know what I'm thinking because she winks at me. "Water for me too, please." I look at Sam as he trots away and kicks some kid off the furthest cooler he was using as a seat, and grabs 2 bottles of water. We keep walking towards my brother and his friends, reaching them the same time Sam does with our bottles. Seriously though, what took so long? Your car was back the same time we were with supplies. Neither of you live that far. Was he pouting again? That little wounded boy look must work for him to keep trying that with us. We both laugh at him, but Sierra comes in with a great response. She cups his face and runs her thumb along his lower lip. And if he were a cartoon, hearts would be shooting out of his eyeballs, and his tongue would have dropped on the floor and rolled away into the forest. Tuck that lip in sugar, save it for girls who fall for it. Perfection like this is not free, nor is it easy. It takes time and cannot be rushed. She looks back at me and winks again. She definitely knows what she is doing. I feel like I should be taking notes. I giggle with her and take a sip of water, which draws the attention of Cameron and Dakota. She is right. It was definitely worth the wait, Dakota says, not taking his eyes off of me, and I'm not sure what to make of that. So I break eye contact only to lock eyes with Cameron, who is nodding, and then Oliver, who is hiding a smile behind his beer bottle. I don't know if I have ever seen him smile, but I don't have time to ponder that as Cameron draws my attention again. "I don't know if I have ever seen your hair up like that. It looks nice, Sky," he says, looking puzzled, like he's trying to figure something out. "Yeah, Tiny, who'd you get all dressed up for?" Dakota winks at me. "Who are you calling Tiny?" I scoffed at him. I had no control over what I look like. My look is that of a hostage situation by a very demanding friend. I smile over at Sierra, who is laughing at something Sam was saying. Before Dakota could reply to me, Sierra jumped in. "It was not a hostage situation. I was just being a good friend and highlighting all of your amazing assets." I rolled my eyes at her. She wasn't wrong, though. She found this amazing blue coat that accentuated the gray of my eyes, and the eye makeup she did made my eyes glow almost silver. She then pulled my blonde hair into a high ponytail and added soft curls to it, making me look taller and more confident. I still had my jeans, t-shirt, and black combat boots on from school today. She didn't do a lot, but what she did made me look like a different person. I don't know how long we stood there talking to the guys, but we seemed to have their undivided attention. My brother and even Oliver joined in the conversation after a while. I found out Oliver was actually really smart and took a ton of extra math classes. He and I had a long discussion that went over the heads of everyone else. At least one of them likes school. It makes me feel less weird. Cameron and Dakota were talking about a few of the things their dad wants them to consider since they are becoming co-alphas, and some of the other pressures they had to think about. My brother even talked about the pressure Dad put on him to be the best beta. We found out all 5 of them were into sports and training. They have all tried almost every outdoor sport there is to try. Several I would love to join them on. I think Sierra just has that charm about her. It draws you in, and if she chooses to pull you in, you can't resist. These guys have never had these kinds of conversations around me, let alone with me. Dakota walked by me after getting another beer, stopped right next to me, and looked straight down into my face. You really are tiny, tiny. What happened? Was Mateo given all the height and nothing was left over for you? He stood towering over me. His 6-foot and growing frame required me to tilt my head all the way back to look at his face. It should have intimidated or frightened me to have him this close. But I didn't feel anything but safe around any of these guys. I guess I never realized how small you are, Smalls, Cameron added. My head was so far back, I only had to shift my gaze slightly to notice he was right behind me. Not touching like Dakota, but close enough to feel the body heat radiating off of them. Still not intimidated, I responded the only way I could think of, like Sierra. I guess some of us needed less time to reach perfection. Some of you are still working out the rough edges. They both smiled at me. Like a fine wine, little bit. We are only getting better with age. Sam chimes in, his arm firmly grasped around Sierra where it's been for the last hour or so since she switched to beer. We all laughed at him. Do either of you have a variation on short you would like to throw in for good measure? I look at Oliver and my brother. They both chuckle, and I attempt to use the moment to get out of the twin sandwich I am in. But they just move as I move. So I stopped trying to get away and looked around to Oliver as he said, "Let me get back to you, bite size. I'll come up with something clever." I rolled my eyes at him, and Sierra just laughed. "And you?" I look at Mateo. "Right now, Shorty, the only thing I get to call you is the takedown champ. Dad is never gonna let any of us live that down." Everyone chuckles at the memory. He reaches for me between the twins and wraps an arm around my neck and pulls me close in a gentle headlock-type hug. A gesture he has never done before. I don't know if it is the beer slowing down his uptight faculties, although I didn't think beer really did much to werewolves, and he hasn't had a ton. But who knows, I've never had any, and he stopped the guys from giving me any tonight. They all offered multiple times as we mingled. Or was he uncomfortable with how close the twins were to me? He's never been protective before, but I guess I haven't given him a reason to be. We don't hang out. Hell, I don't hang out with anyone. This is all new for me, and he probably knows it. The moment seemed to go unnoticed by the others, and they all started discussing this morning's training, while we all moved over closer to the fire and found seats on logs or the ground. Mateo didn't take his arm off my shoulder until I sat down and leaned against one of the logs. Sierra sat by me, but Sam sat on the log behind her, placing her in between his legs. My brother sat on my other side, leaving Oliver, Cameron, and Dakota on the next log that was angled towards us. Don't remind me. I was on the receiving end of that particular beatdown. Sierra mumbles. I was worried for a minute that maybe she was irritated with me for the way I beat her during training. But when I look at her, she doesn't look upset. She actually looks amused. They all laugh again, and I take a deep breath and join them. Man, was that training only this morning? I feel like so much has happened since then. I did notice as we changed our location many more people had shown up too. I was so caught up in our own group, I didn't even notice. I guess Sam was right. Everyone came whenever and just hung out as long as they wanted. The fire was really nice. It was more chilly than I had anticipated. I wasn't cold, but I would take warmth over cold weather any time. The Alpha told us that all the warriors tried to match, or better her time using the takedown today, and no one could do it. Sierra supplies to our group, including all your dads. She added like an afterthought, taking a pull from her beer. But I think she was rubbing salt in the wound. Really? Damn. Well, I don't feel so bad then, if none of our dads could beat it either. Sam says. How many training sessions do you go to? Oliver asks in his low growl. I can see his brain doing some kind of calculation. I know you're at all the mandatory pack training, and you train with Luna Ava at advanced training. But what else? He seemed genuinely curious as he took a slow drink of his beer. All of them. I shrug, keeping my focus on the fire. I don't know why, but I feel uneasy saying that out loud. Until today, I didn't hang out with anyone, so outside of getting my homework done, I trained. It was the only time I left the house and Kaylee left me alone. I was not going to explain that to them, though. I was just starting to feel a little normal. Oliver choked on his beer. All of them? What do you mean, all of them? I wasn't sure how that was unclear, but whatever. Maybe the beer was getting to him too. I attend all of the morning mandatory trainings for the high schoolers, the advanced training for the warriors and ranked members 3 times a week, and I help and work with Delta Kyle and the warriors who do the basic trainings, patrol training, and work with the pups during beginner training. I shrug again like it's no big deal, because to me it isn't, never has been. I look forward to working with the pups and with all of the crap Callie pulls. I like knowing they are learning to deal with people like her, so no one else has to go through this. It keeps my head clear too. The effort makes me happy. I also think that basics are undervalued and people don't focus on them enough. It's the best way to warm up and stay sharp. In the middle of a fight, your muscle memory is what takes over, and it's not the fancy tea these guys like to mess around with that saves you. That's almost 30 hours of combat training a week. You do that on top of school and everything else. He's looking at me like he's never seen me before, and I look around at the rest of the group and their looks aren't much different. I've never done the math before, so I'll take your word for it, but yeah, I guess. I stammer out, looking back to the fire and start to feel uncomfortable with all of the attention. I shift a bit and try to look smaller, if that's even possible. Like it will stop all their staring. Aren't you like the top student in your grade? Cameron asks me. And in advanced classes and stuff too, right? I know you're in my English class for sure. Dakota adds, finishing his twin's thoughts. Okay, we get it. She's amazing. Now stop making it weird. Sierra jumps to my aid after coming out of her own shock and pulling me in for a hug. I let her pull me to her side, but I keep my focus on the fire or the ground. I was doing so well fitting in, but now my oddities are starting to be revealed, and I don't really want to talk about why I avoid people. I think we all just got an ego smackdown and are feeling a bit inadequate right now. That's all. Sam says, wrapping his arm back around my friend, sliding down behind her and pulling her back to his chest, but still staring at me. Speak for yourself. No inadequacies here. Oliver laughs and we all join in. Yeah, right. You're so competitive. I'd put money on you attempting to hit 30 hours of training next week. Sam laughs back at him. Oliver doesn't respond, but takes a large gulp of beer, telling me Sam is probably right, and I will see more of Oliver in the coming week. I can't decide if I like the idea or not. Training was my oasis from all of the crap going on behind the scenes at school, which they are a part of. I am not going to pretend like this little show of friendship is going to last. They have never acknowledged me before today, and Kaylee made sure everyone at school stayed clear of me on the threat of physical punishment, and my dad made sure I wasn't involved in any leadership training that he is aware of. The only reason I got to train with Luna Ava is because she requested me specifically as the only daughter of a ranked member, and my dad wasn't going to deny his Luna. I think her and Delta Kyle said whatever they had to say to get me permission to work with her, especially after I got my wolf. We were sitting in comfortable silence after that. Small conversations here and there, but nothing major. I just listened in, but mostly stared at the fire, enjoying the warmth and the calm. This is not what I pictured a high school party to be like. I expected wild kids trashing the place and loud music, kids dancing on tables super drunk. I'm sure there are parties like that, but this was very nice. I should have known things were going too well, and something bad was due to happen. Just as I had the thought I can't remember the last time I had this much fun, the sound of a fake, high-pitched voice cut through the crowd. OMG. Babes, your favorite girls are here, now the real party can start. Kaylee squeals from the entrance to the clearing with Jeannie and Marnie in tow. The mood around me dropped palpably. I could actually feel the tension in the air. It was not pleasant. Each of the guys took a breath and blew it out, like they were preparing for battle as the trio walked over, smiling like royalty. They each had on miniskirts that barely covered anything, and cropped long-sleeved shirts that looked to be a few sizes too small. Jeannie's boobs looked like they might fall out of the bottom and the top at the same time. To top it all off, they all had on tall black heels. It's cold and we were in the woods. These were not the outfits for the woods. They probably got here the same time we did, and it just took several hours to navigate the soft forest floor. I had to try and fight my smile at the thought. I did not succeed. I let out an involuntary giggle, which earned a death glare from Kaylee. Then she turned back to the guys. I brought your favorite tequila. I thought we could do some shots to celebrate the new school year and another year closer to you both being alphas. She squeals again, trotting. Is that a thing girls do, over to Cameron and Dakota? But I forgot shot glasses. She pouts, and it is nothing like the endearing pout Sam used on us. It kind of made her look constipated. Just drink straight from the bottle. The alcohol actually makes it pretty hygienic. Sierra supplies dryly. Kaylee's lip curls as she slowly looks over at Sierra. I'm sure noting how Sam has her wrapped up in his lap. Thanks new girl, but I figured my men could just take shots off of me. That would be more fun anyway, right? A little warm-up for later. She flips her hair, looking at Cameron and Dakota. Why does she keep calling them her men? And second thought, why do I care? I'll do one off, Sierra. Sam volunteers, wiggling his eyebrows at her. She just rolls her eyes. I am clearly the only person who has no idea what is going on right now. I hope my face is as neutral as I am trying to keep it. You can take one off me, Maddie. Jeannie looks at my brother. Maddie? Since when was that a nickname? He hesitates, but doesn't outwardly disagree as she walks over and wraps both arms around his waist from behind, in what I'm sure was supposed to be a loving gesture, but just looked uncomfortable. That leaves you and me, Oliver. Marnie strides over and sits on the ground between his legs, right before he stands up, and she tips back awkwardly against the log, I'm sure flashing someone with the right angle. What about Shorty? We can't leave one out, Oliver exclaims, looking at me. Who? Kaylee pretends not to notice the odd number, since she seems to have claimed both the twins. Shorty needs a shot partner. He gestures his head towards me and my cheeks flame. Now that she was forced to acknowledge my presence, an ugly scowl forms on Callie's face. I'm sure she doesn't mind being the odd man out, or we could grab one of the other guys for her. Kaylee flips her hand in the air dismissively, like it's a minor inconvenience. N.O. All 5 guys speak together. I jump a little at the aggression in their tones, and Kaylee, Jeannie, and Marnie are confused by the outburst. Well, that was aggressive. I smile, trying to defuse some of the tension. It's okay. I do not feel left out. Do whatever. I try to match Kaylee's tone, hoping I got it right. I'm still lost, but I don't want to stop any of them from enjoying things they usually do when they get together. This is clearly not something new for Sierra either, based on her reaction. She gives me a sympathetic look. It's fine, I mouth to her. She jumps up and grabs my hand. I have an idea. She is not taking a shot, Sierra. My brother looks at her with his best business look. Of course not. She rolls her eyes and pulls me to sit on the log next to Sam. Then she is sitting across Sam's lap and lays back, adjusting. So she is lying across my lap, too, and her shirt has pulled up, exposing her torso. All right, Mateo, set us up. She giggles as Sam catches on. Yes, this is so much hotter. Sam basically growls, and it makes me really uncomfortable. But I hope it doesn't show on my face, since most eyes are on us now. My brother takes the bottle of tequila from Kaylee's hands and brings it over to Sierra, then meticulously pours it into her belly button. She squeals a bit and then giggles again. Sam leans down and drags his tongue across the waistband of her jeans, and then up her stomach and around her belly button. He wraps his big hand around my backside and settles it on one of my butt cheeks with a firm grip, and trails his other hand up my friend's side, and settles it on my knee before latching his whole mouth on her belly button and taking a very long time to get such a small amount of liquid off of her. He never once took his eyes off my friend, though, and I began to relax in the situation, considering how new this territory was for me. Sam and Sierra found another way to include me without my having to drink or be embarrassed. I smiled and let out a giggle as Sam squeezed my knee and found that perfect spot that tickles a knot to make me squirm. All right, asshole, you made your point. Stop giving Sierra a hickey and groping my sister. Mateo sounded stern, but also amused at his friend's antics. The rest of the guys just laughed along at his annoyance. He would have ripped Sam's arms off if he felt like I was in any kind of actual danger, so that made me feel better. He looked at Sierra and gave her a little head nod. I know he was thanking her for once again allowing me to be a part of this, without feeling stupid or inexperienced. The rest of the guys took their shot off the girl that claimed them, but none were as entertaining or excited about it as Sam. I now know how my brother felt watching me sit there. It was not pleasant, and yet it was comical to watch him take a shot off of Jeannie, who insisted on grabbing his hair and keeping his lips on her at least as long as Sam did on Sierra, making weird gasping sounds and moans. Marnie was a little more gracious, but by force. Oliver held her wrists together over her head, so she couldn't grab him. But she appeared to like the show of dominance, mentioning letting him tie her up later. Kaylee, of course, insisted both twins take a shot off of her. It just felt ridiculous and forced by then. She went over the top, grinding her butt in their laps, flipping her hair around and arching her back as she laid down. I'm sure she thought it was enticing to them. But if she actually looked at everyone's faces, they were more grimaced than smiling or lust-filled. Our whole group dynamic changed after they arrived, and Sierra and I were ignored by the trio, clearly trying to maintain all of the attention. Even thought the guys refused to leave us out of conversation. After about an hour, I looked at Sierra. I think I'm going to head out. You can stay if you want to. She jumped up faster than I thought possible in her former sleepy state, leaning on Sam's shoulder. Nope, I was actually thinking the same thing. We were both up early and some of us, non-slackers, have training in the morning. She said the last words loud enough to be heard over the trio's squabble of which couples were most likely to be mates after we all turned 18. Seriously? Saturdays too? Oliver said, completely walking away from the Barbie trio's conversation. I just stared at him. Was he listening in? I will still put money on it. Sam chimed in with a big old smile on his face. You could see the clear confusion on Kaylee, Jeannie, and Marnie's faces, at the attention diverting from them so quickly, and having no idea what the guys were talking about. Oliver groaned. I guess that means I'm out too. I'll walk you guys home. Called it. Sam stood up too, laughing. But I'll walk with you. I have to see you in action early on a Saturday. I guess we should all be there, shouldn't we? My brother stood up, having a harder time extricating himself from Jeannie's tentacle-like grip. You're right. We should all go. Delta Kyle will appreciate that we are all there, Cameron says, as both he and Dakota stood up from the log they occupied with Kaylee. But we just got here, and we haven't even started having fun yet. Kaylee whined. She grabbed the twins' hands, stumbling a bit. I was hoping we could end with a little two-on-one time. It's been forever. She looked up at them through her heavily mascaraed eyelashes. Gross. Was she talking about what I think she was talking about? Sorry, ladies. We got called into the weekend training, so it's a light and early night for us. Maybe next time, Dakota said, as the 5 guys turned around and started ushering us up the lit pathway before anyone else could argue. Damn. That was brutal, Sam let out under his breath before we even made it through the path opening. Don't get me wrong, I loved the 2 female body shot. We will definitely be revisiting that situation. But did anyone else feel like the whole night just tanked as soon as the party got too big? First, over my dead body are taking a shot off my sister, and second, yes. I don't think it's ever been like that before, Mateo says. I realize they are talking in code, and I am smart enough to know who is the reason for the code. But at the same time, I don't know why. The twins say goodbye to us from the back patio, and say they will drive us all to training in the morning. Also a new situation, because I'm pretty sure I was included in that invitation, but we will see come morning. Once we get to the front, Mateo, Sam, Sierra and I split off toward our side of the pack house, and Oliver starts walking to the other side towards his house. He shouts over his shoulder that we will leave at 6 a.m. sharp, so none of us should be late, no matter how long it takes some of us to say goodnight. I started openly laughing at the insinuation, and then again at the look on Sam's face. I hugged Sierra goodnight at the end of our sidewalk, and she and Sam kept on walking to her house. When we finally get home, Mateo stops to take his jacket off at the door. I just continue into the kitchen, looking for a snack. All I had was soda and water, and I was starving. I walk into the dimly lit kitchen, the light over the sink, the only illumination in the room. Where the hell have you been? I jumped about a mile into the air and screamed at the growling words. Mateo came running in and grabbed my shoulders, pulling me behind him, protectively looking around for what scared me. He relaxed a little when he noticed my dad sitting at our rectangular kitchen table, a short, empty glass in front of him. When my heart rate started to go back to a normal rhythm, I looked at my dad and had to force an eye roll back. I stepped around my brother to fully face my dad. After school, I showed the new girl, Sierra, around, and then we were hanging out with Mateo and the guys. I'm sorry. I didn't realize the time. When we noticed what time it was and that we have training in the morning, we all went home to get some sleep. Is that true, son? I could barely hold back the growl from my wolf at my brother being questioned to see if I was lying, my hands balling into fists at my sides to curb the anger. I never do anything out of line, always his perfect little beta daughter, but worth nothing to him, other than an image he presents to the outside world. Yes, sir. She's been with us the whole time. It was the annual back-to-school bonfire. Simple explanation that would have gotten me a smack to the face and grounded. And are you really going to training in the morning? He asks, looking at my brother only, as if I'm not even here. I go to training every day. Delta Kyle reports my progress weekly to you, sir. I snap at him before walking out of the kitchen to the stairs towards my room. I hear the loud scrape of the chair, knowing my father will rush to yell at me for my backtalk. Little girls don't backtalk. They do what they are told and stay silent. But I don't get far when I hear my brother. Leave her alone. She convinced us all that we should invest more time training, especially after her display this morning. All the guys and I decided it's time to invest more into pack training. Sky is going to show us the ropes, since she is the most familiar with the setup. We have been asking you boys to go to weekend trainings for years. Why the change now? My dad asks. I guess she's just more convincing than you. Now, it's late, and I need to sleep if I'm going to be able to function that early. Then I heard Mateo's boots clomping up the stairs behind me. I let him catch up, and he swung his arm around my shoulder again and kissed my temple. I'm sorry. I can't pretend like the way he treats you is okay anymore. It was never okay. I never should have let it get this far. I know why you work and train as hard as you do. You don't have to do it alone anymore. He walks me to my door and kisses my forehead, before turning around and walking to the door across the hall from mine. Thank you, Mateo, I whisper, but I know he can hear me. That was the first night in a long time that I cried. I never cried after getting beaten by Kaylee and her friends. I wouldn't give them the satisfaction, and I have never been close to my dad, so there was never an emotional connection to feel sad about. But Mateo was a loss that I didn't know hurt me until now, when I got a glimpse of what we had before he started focusing on his duties as the next beta. I fell asleep hoping he and I could have the close relationship we did when we were little. Today was just one day though, and they only noticed me after they found out I was better at something than they were. And the only reason they even noticed was because Sierra happened to partner with me. So, we'll see how long this lasts. The morning came quickly after that. I was actually too antsy to sleep much. At 4, I finally decided I needed to go for a jog. My wolf agreed. A run in the forest really early helped clear my mind and settle conflicting thoughts. It's like everything falls into place out here. I was trying to gather my thoughts on my emotions. Was I more excited or scared that they were going to join me? I was planning to ask Sierra if she wanted to come anyway, but adding the guys was something I never thought of. They always had their own things going on, and too busy to look in on how the rest of the pack fared or trained. I walked back into my house at 5 after running half the patrol border route and went to start breakfast. It's the one thing I did on the weekends for my brother and dad. Neither acknowledged or thanked me, but there was never anything left, so it must be at least decent. I plated everything and left it on the island. Then I went to knock on Mateo's door to make sure he was up and getting ready. Hey, sleeping beauty, you up? I sing in at him. We have to get moving, or we will be late, and I don't actually know what Oliver does to people who are late, nor do I want to find out the hard way. I think I actually hate you. Why do you sound so chipper already? He grumbles with his face still firmly planted in his pillow. Lies, you love me. Get in the shower, it helps, and I made breakfast and coffee. I smack him on the back, and he groans again. How long have you been up exactly? Little while. I went for a run and made breakfast. No big deal. I do it every weekend. This is my normal. Wait, you run and make breakfast before you go to training. Since when do you make breakfast? I always make breakfast on the weekends. It's the only time Gretchen takes off. Does Dad know it's you and not her? 'Cause I had no idea. I just thought she came in and made quick stuff before spending the day with her family. I am feeling more and more inferior the longer I talk to you. He groans, finally stepping away from his bed toward the bathroom. Whatever, Beta. Get ready fast. You only have 15 minutes before we have to meet the guys. I walk out of his room, smiling. His subtle compliment gives me a little more hope that we can be friends. It's a bit strange. I haven't had this much conversation with my brother in years. My dad has had him so busy training for becoming the next beta that he hasn't had any time for me since he was about 10. But, as strange as it is, I would be lying if I said that I didn't enjoy it. Even if it is only temporary. I know they are all only coming today, because Oliver felt a slight to his male ego, knowing that I train more than he does. Even with the extra time they put in with their dads, he needs to know if he could handle it. The rest of the guys are coming to either cheer him on when he does it, or have proof when he fails. What he doesn't know is that I don't do half the things they do. I don't go to parties or hang out with friends. I don't go to study groups or hold meetings with our current leaders to understand how the pack functions. Physical training is my only escape from the hell that Callie and her friends bring me. She has actually taken to searching for kids misbehaving and letting me know what her punishment for those deeds are. The punishments are always way over the top and far more sadistic than they should be. But if I don't step in and take the punishment, she will really perform it on these kids. I found out at the end of last year, her father appointed her and a few others to monitor the school for minor infractions that are beneath the administration's interference, but need to be handled, then hand out and fulfill punishments accordingly. A few have gone to the principal about the abusive tactics she uses, but our administrators either agree with what she is doing, or something else is allowing her to get away with it. It doesn't matter. I won't allow her to torture our pack members, and she knows it. So I am her personal punching bag. I don't talk about it, and neither do the students I am taking the punishment for. We have all decided that nothing will be done to her, and I refuse to look weak and keep tattling. When she comes up with the best stories for her actions, and every adult has been led to not believe me or fears siding with me, I do know the kids I take punishments for appreciate it, even if they can't say anything directly to me. It's in their eyes when we pass in the halls. I know they would approach me if they could, and that is part of the reason I endure this. It doesn't go unnoticed by everyone. I just wish the people who could do something to stop it would open their eyes. Kids shouldn't be afraid of going to school. But training, she rarely attends training and manages to get out of most of our mandatory trainings too. I will never complain about her not being at trainings. The peace is divine. The only reason I don't retaliate and fight back is my father. The one time I fought back and punched her in the nose, which also fractured the bone around her right eye. She went straight to her dad with some sob story about me bullying her since I was a higher rank and therefore stronger than her. My father was called in, and the verbal lashing I received in front of Kaylee, the principal, and her father is one I will never forget. I was called worthless, a slacker, spoiled, and so difficult that my mother's body couldn't survive having me. I should be working with other ranked members to make the pack better, not beating up on weaker members. That was the day I stopped talking to my father. If he didn't directly talk to me, I no longer made the effort. My only problem was, I thought if I just did better, became stronger, tried harder, and was able to hide the bullying, he would see that I am worthy. So, like a crazy person, I threw myself into everything he made me believe was important, like being the top student. I'm sure he knows, but he will never say anything to me about it. I also have made myself the best warrior in the pack. Just because I won't be the beta here doesn't mean I can't be a warrior here, or even in a different pack if my mate happens to be from another. That would be my dream, to meet my mate and get to leave. I would miss Luna, Ava, and Delta Kyle, maybe even my brother a little bit, but being free to walk around and have friends, to not be looking over my shoulder all of the time, or feel like a waste of someone's space. That would be heaven. Mateo and I walk out the door together, and I start to turn, out of habit, walking away from the houses to my usual shortcut to get to the training grounds. Where are you going? The pack house is this way. He calls over to me. Training? Where else? It's faster to cut through the woods behind Oliver's house. We are not walking. He scoffs at me. Cam and Coda are going to drive us, remember? Oh, I figured that was a you guys thing. I mumbled out, looking down at my shoes. I didn't think I was included in that. I never have been before. When he doesn't answer, I look up at him, and he winces, just enough for me to notice before he schools his face. It was mean of me, but I couldn't help the little jab. Since the twins started driving, all 5 of the guys have been riding to school together, and I was left walking. I didn't really mind. It's not actually that far. But there was never even an offer, like I was invisible to them. Which I guess I was, until yesterday. That thought was the little reality check I needed to remember. Things will not change once we are back at school Monday. They will go back to being the popular guys at school that everyone fights to talk to. And I will go back to being invisible, unless Callie says otherwise. Come on. You are not walking either. He wraps me in that headlock hug and starts to drag me towards the massive truck in the packhouse driveway. It's about time. I was worried you were making up all that extra training crap last night. Sam laughs before removing his arm from around Sierra's shoulder and jumping in the truck's back seat. My brother climbs in and slides to the middle of the back, and Oliver sits on his other side. I move to stand beside Sierra. The twins are in the front, looking over at us. She's already been on a run and made breakfast. Mateo laughs out to the group, elbowing Oliver. Oliver groans and rolls his eyes. Sierra and I just look at each other. Do you expect us to sit in the truck bed? She laughs at them as they look around and realize we are not a normal part of their entourage. They really don't spend much time outside their bro bubble. We can just do laps. It's not that far. Sierra, you can join me. Sam pats his thigh and wiggles his eyebrows at her. Little bit you can ride on Oliver. I did not miss the sexual innuendo that time, and my cheeks flamed. Tiny can ride up here in the front. She'll fit in between us. Cameron says, a little clipped from the driver's seat. Dakota nods, but instead of getting out like I thought he would, he just says, "Climb on up," with an evil smirk on his face. He must know how weird this is for me, and I'm sure my face is going an even brighter shade of red. I take a deep breath and slowly climb up the truck sideboard, but I must be going too slow for Dakota, because he grabs my waist and plants me on his lap before closing the door. I started to slide off his lap and in between the twins as Cameron pulled out of the driveway. Dakota's arm stays behind my back as I move and slowly drags his fingers across the back of my t-shirt. I gasp a bit as he nudges on of the fresh wounds from Kaylee's latest punishment, and I also realize my shirt is still a bit damp from my early morning run. How are you already sweaty, Smalls? We haven't done anything yet. Dakota looks over at me again with that crooked grin. I told you, Miss Shorty Overachiever here has already gotten a run in this morning, along with cooking up a feast. That's why we were right on time. I was not letting any of that go to waste. My brother spouts behind me. I can hear the smile in his voice though, so I think he's teasing me. Wait, you made food and didn't bring us any? Sam asked. I couldn't help but laugh at his expression when I looked over my shoulder. I would have complained less if I knew there was food involved. Everyone laughed. There wasn't any extra to bring. I'll remember you are all easily bribed with food next time. I laughed as we pulled up barely 5 minutes later. We all piled out of the truck like it was our own personal clown car. Much to the surprise of Delta Kyle, who was checking the pups in. He definitely did not expect to see us this morning. Did Sam not tell him they were joining me? Hey, Delta, I brought some help. Hope you don't mind. I skipped up to him. Training with the pups was one of my favorite things to do. How in the hell did you manage that? He points behind me, eyeballs wide, chin basically on the ground. I couldn't even get my son to come to training with me by force, and he shows up with you looking kind of awake and happy about it. You need to teach me your secrets. I just laugh at him. No secret? Oliver asked how often I trained, and I told them. Now they are here. I shrug my shoulders. It didn't seem that big a deal to me, but clearly it was based on his reaction. Will you get the pups warmed up? I have a couple more things to wrap up here, he says to me, but not looking at me. He is genuinely confused about the guy's presence here. I grab Sierra's hand. Come on, you can help with warm-up. We walk in the smaller arena. We have 3, so we can run multiple training sessions or training styles at a time. This arena also has an obstacle course at one end, that we let the kids run on at the end of class. All the pups start shouting their hellos to me, and then I watch their eyes pop as they realize who is following behind me. It was really cute to see them starstruck with the future alphas, beta, gamma, and delta. They are celebrities at school, but I don't think they understand what these little kids think of them. Why do they all look terrified? Oliver asks in my ear. I almost jumped, not realizing how close he was to me. You guys are idols to them. They've never seen you up close before since you spend very little time with pack members younger than you. Was that mean? The way the guys are looking at me makes me feel like I said something wrong. Sierra nudges me with a huge smile on her face, and I shake off the thought and get started. These are our youngest pups. They range from 5 to 7. They are learning basic movements and body control, really. I introduce the guys and explain that they are joining us today to see what we have been teaching, and that they better make me look good. That earned a small laugh from the pups and broke the tension a bit. We go through our usual warm-ups, and Sierra and the guys follow my lead, walking around and giving corrections. The kids must have thought this was the best day ever, based on their faces every time someone stopped to talk to them. I looked around after an hour and noticed Delta Kyle never came back, so I just kept on going. We do a lot of games to teach the pups. It keeps them engaged, and they do the conditioning with less groaning if they know we will do something fun after. Today is tag, but I have an idea to make it more fun for them and for me. Okay, today's game is tag. An eruption of cheers follows. Wait though, we are going to play a little differently than normal. A chorus of a WWs has me rolling my eyes. You didn't even hear how we are changing it up. I put my hands on my hips and look at them sternly. We are going to see which leader you can catch the fastest. You are all going to be chasers against one of our future leaders. Work as a team to tag them. Let's see what you can do. Get together to make your strategy. I turn around to the guys and they are looking at me like I have lost my mind. Sierra is openly laughing. What? All you have to do is not get tagged. I shrug my shoulders. But there's like 1,000 of them. Sam whines. It's only 50. You'll be fine. You can use any means except leaving the arena to steer clear of them for as long as possible, and just so you know. They take this game very seriously. Don't let their little cuteness distract you. I wink at them. Who wants to go first? I'll go. It can't be that hard, can it? Oliver volunteers. I turn around. All right, we have our first victim. I mean volunteer. I laugh. Future Gamma Oliver is up. Remember, he is going to try and evade you at all costs for as long as possible. Ready? Go. The kids all charge at us, and the momentary panic in Oliver's eyes has Sierra and I almost crying with laughter. I don't think he expected them to be that fast, and they work really well together due to the team building games we play. At 2 minutes and 40 seconds, they finally cornered him. He walked back to the group, panting. Should maybe work a bit on that cardio, less on the weights. Sierra pats him on the back. I really don't like you, he says to the ground, but he could be talking to either Sierra or me at this point. Who's next? I ask, ignoring him. Let's get this over with. Mateo grumbled good-naturedly. We have future Beta Mateo. Ready? Go. Mateo has a better strategy, at least. He runs a couple circles around the obstacle course, and when they catch on, he runs under it to cut off the 2 groups they formed. Jumping to the rope climb. I'm sure he's hoping they don't know how to use, but he underestimates my training or their abilities. Or both. A kid follows him up his rope and 2 jump on the ropes on either side of him, effectively blocking him in. That was done in 2 minutes 35 seconds. The kids scream at their accomplishment. Damn, they are fast. What kind of training do you put them through? Mateo asks, going to grab a bottle of water and stands next to Oliver. Let's do this. All I have to do is make it longer than 2:40. Sam chuckles. Willing to make a bet? Oliver asks. Seriously? These two and making bets? I'm sure they bet on who can hold their pee the longest. I roll my eyes. You're on winner buys lunch for all 7 of us. Sam wiggles his eyebrows. This must be a very good wager. I'm not sure if I will ever understand the dynamic of boys. Okay, ready for future Delta, Sam? I don't even wait for their response before shouting, G.O., trying not to laugh at their antics. Sam is actually really fast and seems to be just as sporadic in his movements as the kids. I hate to doubt Oliver, but Sam might actually win this bet. He's laughing and dodging, spinning and jumping over the kids' heads. He clearly has the movements of a natural-born warrior. He's leaner than the rest of the guys, like a runner who just happens to lift a ton of weight. The kids eventually break into 5 groups, 4 of them covering an entrance to the obstacle course. Sam decided to climb, and the rest have made a perimeter around in case he decides to jump from somewhere random. Which of course he did. He made a running jump to the rope climb, but did not anticipate the kids being able to shimmy up and tag him. He climbs down laughing with the kids, looking at me expectantly. Sorry, Oliver. He made it 2 minutes and 43 seconds. I looked at Oliver apologetically, while Sam is hooting and hollering, doing the do-see-do with some of the pups. I'm never going to hear the end of it now. Oliver rolls his eyes, but has a smile on his face. Both of the twins take their turns, but they are less serious about it, opting to tease and taunt the kids before letting themselves be caught after only a minute or so. I'm not sure if they were trying to give the kids a break or if they didn't want the added pressure of having to beat Sam. He would definitely gloat. All right, cadets, now it's time to see if you can finally stop your biggest nemesis. Delta Kyle calls from the seats near the center of the arena. Only he isn't alone. For the first time in a long time, he's accompanied by the Alpha, Luna, Beta, Gamma, and a couple of our elite warriors. Some of the kids groaned and some cheered. I get why, though. This is the only challenge they haven't won yet. What's he talking about? Sierra asked. They have to play capture the flag against me. I wink at her. Wait, you're their biggest nemesis? Dakota asks. I guess you could call it that. I think Delta Kyle is being dramatic, but they haven't beaten me yet. I shrug my shoulders. What do you have to do? Cameron asks. I have to capture the flag. I point to the flag one of the pups is attaching to the top of the 40-foot rope climb, and get back to this side of the stadium without being tagged in under a minute. WHT? And they haven't beaten you? How many times have you played this? Once or twice, Oliver asks. We have played this at the end of every Saturday training for almost a year, I say, walking to my end of the field, not looking over my shoulder. I don't want to look at them, and I also have to get my head in the game. I've never had an audience before, and the current and future leaders are here, including my dad. It's a little bit nerve-wracking. You ready, Sky? Delta Kyle calls out to me. I nod my head without looking away from my target. Ready, Geo? A torrent of sound comes from the kids. Several charge my way as I run towards them. Just before they reach me, I break left towards the side walls of the arena and jump to the ledge, continuing to run without a missed step. I go as far as I can and make a large, broad jump, landing on the tips of my toes on the top of the curved climbing bars, leading up to the main platform of the obstacle course. I continue running and make the same leap to the ropes that Sam did. The only thing I did differently is jump from the side, collecting 2 of the 3 ropes in my legs, while reaching for the 3rd. I climb up, taking the extra ropes with me so they can't follow. I get to the top and grab the flag, stuffing it carefully in my sports bra. I look around to assess where the kids are. For the most part, they are starting to swarm the ground where the ropes would land if I let them go. I choose to pull them up over the support beam and walk across the support structure like a gymnast, making it to the cargo net before any of them can make it around. climbing only as low as I need to jump to the arena wall on the other side, almost missing my footing. As soon as I'm sure, I take off as fast as I can. I know I have to be close to time. They made me run more than in the past. They are starting to learn to trust their instincts and learn my habits, weaknesses, and strengths. Kyle and I decided to not let them win this without a fight to make them build their long-term observation skills, anticipation, tracking, and learning from past mistakes. I jump from the wall, the kids hot on my tail, and run like my life depends on it over the finish line. I didn't get tagged, which sucks for the kids, but I want to know if I maintained my time. I look expectantly at Delta Kyle, my hands on my knees while I am bent over panting, trying desperately to ignore the looks on the faces surrounding him. He just stares at me, blank-faced. I am ready to cry from anticipation. He looks down at the stopwatch and back up at me a couple times, before taking a deep breath in. 52 seconds. His face breaks out into the biggest smile I have ever seen. I let out the breath I didn't realize I was holding and matched his smile, and then it's like someone turned the volume on full blast. Cheers and yelling surround me, with all of the pups coming up to congratulate me. Sierra wades through the crowd of kids and gives me a hug. Why are they so excited they lost? That was my fastest time yet, and they put the flag as high as it could go. Today was hard. They put up a good fight, I say, patting a little boy on the back, while one of the girls is trying to hug my leg. There is just a commotion of words. I catch bits and pieces, but you would have thought the kids had won the challenge the way they were retelling it. Did you see that jump? It was at least 20 feet. No way, it was more like 30. We could totally do that. I'm going to remember that rope trick. It was crazy good. I think she's part cat, not wolf, the way she ran on those walls. I bet she's faster than a cheetah. Nice work today. A deep, booming voice comes up from behind me. I jump, and the kids go silent. Alpha Lucas. Hi, thank you. It's a game we have been working on for a while, so I've had some practice, I say, blushing again. I don't think my cheeks are ever going to be normal color again. I wasn't talking about the game, although that was impressive. I will be having you show us some of the training you do to be able to move like that. I think you should join the trainers and help them plan. Come to think of it. No. I was talking about the fact that you got the entire future leadership team out of bed before 6 a.m. on a Saturday to teach a class with you, and they participated fully. That, my dear, is pretty close to a miracle. My eyes just go wide and I am speechless as the rest of our leaders collectively laugh at their sons. You are also a very skilled teacher for someone so young. You are a natural with these kids. No wonder Delta Kylie praises you so highly. And there goes my cheeks again, and I'm pretty sure the blush is creeping down my neck too. Well, thank you for the absolute destruction of our fragile egos. But we have a date after all of that, and Oliver has some lunch to buy us. Sam walks up and puts his arm around my shoulder. Actually, there's another class, I say, biting my lip, looking as apologetic as I can. But you guys can go. I'll catch up later. I have no intention of chasing them down at all. I feel like this little friend bubble we have been in for the last 12 hours is about to break. How many more classes are we talking? Sam leans back to look at me. I'm slowly dying from lack of food here. You should have eaten before we came, like a normal person. Sierra laughs at him. I was unaware of the team breakfast at the Beta House to satisfy the ridiculous amount of exercise I would be subjected to today. How many more, little bit? If you're here, then we're here so you can stop making us look pathetic. He laughs. The next class is a basics class for beginners and non-warriors just to stay sharp and in shape. It's less intense than the rest of the training, but I think it's super important. It runs for 2 hours. Then we're done for the day. Remind me to never, ever, ever rise to your challenge again. I'm going to die. Sam walks off to grab his water bottle as the rest of the guys, the Luna and Sierra, all laugh at him. I'm pretty sure I didn't challenge anyone, I say, to no one in particular. Basic training goes better, and as we all walk through correcting form and technique, I can see the current leaders watching us again with curious and hopeful expressions on their faces. They even come down to do some of the exercises with us, which is a rare thing. They don't normally have time to intermingle casually like this. I think it's great for the pack members that are here. If anything, the looks on the pack members' faces is totally worth the full interruption of having all of them here. The slow stretching and body weight exercises are great for our newer, younger fighters and our older fighters who want to stay in shape. We work on dynamic and functional movement, building up muscle memory so they don't hesitate in an unfriendly situation. Even though the training is light for us, we are all still a sweaty mess when we are walking out of the arena. Should we go home and change before we eat? I ask, noting I probably look something close to a drowned rat that's been run over a couple times. Not a chance, little bit. Get your sweaty ass in the truck, and for the love of my sanity, somebody feed me. Sam growls out. Martha won't care when she hands Oliver the bill. I'm going to eat one of everything on that menu. You guys are going to have to roll me out the door. Everyone is laughing now. Mateo, Oliver, and Sam jump in the back. Sam basically hauls Sierra in and on his lap with a lot of protesting on her part. Dakota picks me up from behind and slides me into the center of the front seat, like I weigh nothing as Cameron jumps in and fires up the truck. Is it weird that after all of that working out and sweating, I am not at all bothered by the smell of these boys? Collectively, it's a musky scent that is all male, but not bad by any means. I, however, am sure that I reek. Another 5 minutes later, and we are pulling into the local diner. The guys must be regulars because they didn't even wait to be seated. They walked straight back to an extra-large corner booth. I somehow ended up between Cameron and Oliver, making me notice my small size. I look like a toddler next to all these guys, and I can't help but laugh. What? Cameron asks. Some situations make my lack of size very apparent. I laugh again, pointedly turning my natural line of sight to the middle of his bicep, then looking up at his face, then doing the same to Oliver. Everyone else joins in. Would you like a booster seat? I'm sure they have one around here somewhere. Sam asks. Nope, I'm good. It would be my luck to fall out of it. I blush. Everyone chuckles at me again. An older woman comes out with a tray full of drinks. Oh, you boys brought company. How did you manage to get these lovely ladies to even come near you like this? You smell like a locker room that hasn't been cleaned in a year. Oh, goddess, I love her already. I stifled my giggle. Sierra didn't even try. Hey, I smell sexy. Sam actually looks a little offended. All man here. Martha, if you must know, it was actually her fault we are like this. She is a ruthless trainer that made us train for 4 hours straight, early, on a Saturday morning. So if you're going to complain, talk to Tiny here. But only after you bring us something to eat. We're dying here. Dakota laughs and points at me. She looks at me and smiles like the rat that got the cheese. You did this, dearie? I nod my head at her, slowly, not sure where this is going, and her face is unreadable. You eat for free. Keep these boys on their toes. They have never once come to see me on a Saturday after training, nor have they ever looked this ragged after their usual training. Keep up the good work. She winks at me. Sierra and I both laugh at her description. Martha, babe, we have been coming here forever, and you have never let any of us eat for free. I thought we had something special. Sam pouts at her. You are something special, sweetheart. She pats his cheek. But us girls have to stick together, and she's probably the first girl in your lives that hasn't had her pants charmed off by one or more of the 5 of you. And you certainly never bring those bed warmers here. I actually spit my drink out and began choking. Super attractive, I'm sure. WHAT? I can't decide if I love this woman or am scared of her. Maybe a little of both. She just says it how it is without any regard to who's around and listening in. Cameron and Oliver are both patting my back as I cough up the rest of the water that went down my windpipe. When I finally calmed down, Martha looked at me pointedly. Oh, did you not know? They don't bring girls in here to me. They know better. This is a known fact. So you two must be special. My eyes are wide, but not as wide as the guys. And are they blushing? Like she just gave away their greatest secret. We bring girls in here, Martha, Oliver says, looking confused. Yeah, all the time. Sam follows up, sits up straight, eyes wide, and then looks at Sierra, whose eyebrows shot up in question. He then sits back, looking a little sheepish at the confession. We are always in here with groups of people, both guys and girls. Cameron tries to calm the tension while contributing to the point. Yeah, but how many sit here at this booth with you? None. That's how many. Think about that while I grab your food. Ladies, are you just going to pick off the guys' plates, or do you want to see the menu? She abruptly changes the subject. Oh, I am definitely going to need a menu. I say far too quickly. Same, says Sierra. She smiles brightly at us. Girls who eat and make decisions for themselves. See, special, she says, pointing and winking at us, then walking away. Martha comes back quickly with a tray full of waters and sodas. She clearly doesn't need the guys to tell her what they want. Sierra and I order, and once our food comes out, it looks like we are feeding a small army. I did not even hesitate to smash the plate of waffles and fruit in front of me. Sierra followed suit, and the guys looked at us with surprise in their eyes, before coming to their senses and digging into their own food. After we each polished off our first course quickly, we all settled into a slow graze of the rest of the food, passing plates and sharing bites. I couldn't even tell you how long we had been sitting there. We are all enjoying a great time, and most of the food is gone, when again the moment is ruined by the condescendingly chipper voice of Kaylee. Oh wow, we didn't know you boys would be here today. You should have called us and we would have come to keep you company. We were just out doing some shopping. We have to look good for our future alphas and company. She giggles and it sounds strained. We're good in company, but thanks, Oliver points out, and I want to melt into the seat. He has no idea what kind of target he just put on Sierra and I. Although, Sierra doesn't give AST. Oh, really? She just notices us sitting here. She looks daggers at me then, at Sierra, and there's nothing I can do or say. I'm stuck between these two giant guys, and I just stuffed a large bite of burger into my mouth. You never have extras at your table. We are with you all the time and have never sat with you. Are you guys changing it up? I can't wait to come here with you next time. She pleads or whines. I'm not quite sure which. It takes me several minutes to chew and swallow without choking again. I don't need to embarrass myself in front of these guys any more than I already have. She takes the time to assess the plate in front of me and gets a large grin on her face. I hope you have more sense than to eat that whole plate of calories at least. You wouldn't catch me eating any of this. It will destroy your figure and we all have to look our best for our mates. No one wants to be with someone who looks sloppy and lazy. She looks straight at me and I place the burger back on my plate, feeling ashamed of the amount of food I have put down before she even got here. I have never cared before. I have always just eaten when I'm hungry. But she is the most popular girl in our school, and always has boys looking at and talking to her. No one talks to me. I know I'm not fat by any means, but the words don't sting any less. She's also got the attention of most of the people in the diner now, with her loud rambling. Are you kidding? Oliver asks. Is he upset? He places his arm across the chair back behind me as he turns toward her. It feels almost protective. After the amount of calories, We all burned training. I'm surprised she hasn't eaten more. She worked harder than the rest of us today. He wrapped his bulky, tattooed arm around me and pulled me a fraction closer. Yeah, I like my girl with an appetite. It means she can hang with the big boys. Not trying to keep up with some stupid fad, Sam says, putting his arm around Sierra's shoulder, who is still happily eating her fries. He winks over at me, knowing I just smashed an omelet and hash browns before digging into the burger and fries. I smiled appreciatively at him, and the rest of the guys mumbled that they agreed with him. You all trained together? Is that like the new guy code for getting laid? Is that why you left early last night and haven't called me because you're cheating? Her hand goes to her hip, but she looks hurt, actually hurt by the thought. Looking between the twins. N-O. N-O. Not at all. They really did come to training this morning. I teach with Delta, I started to protest. The last thing I need is her trying to murder me in my sleep for trying to steal the twins. She put her hand up at me to stop me talking. Don't speak, you little homewrecker. Don't defend them. They can explain it for themselves, and I will decide if I want to forgive them or not. You will be dealt with later. Callie snaps at me and I close my mouth and look down at my lap. This week is going to be one of the worst of my life if she thinks I am actively trying to steal the twins from her. At least it's Oliver's arm around me and not Cam's. First, we aren't dating, so there is no cheating. Cameron starts, motioning between himself and Callie. Second, who we hang out with is none of your concern. Dakota finishes, doing the twin thing. It is when we are going to be mated. She basically screams, and you better figure that out quickly and stop trying to take mates that aren't yours. She snarls, pointing at me before she flips her platinum blonde hair and struts out of the diner. Her friends close behind, before any of us can say a thing. What the hell was that mate stuff all about? Sam asks. Please tell me she isn't going to be our Luna. I might shoot myself. We're only 16. She's younger, like Little Bit's age, right? How would she know if you guys are mates or not? He's rambling now, almost panicky. There's no way, just wishful thinking on her part, probably. That's what you get for giving into the crazy ones. Now that she's had you two in the sheets, she thinks she's got her claws in you permanently. Mateo supplies. My face goes beet red again. All this open, nonchalant SX talk is new for me. You two actually slept with her? Sierra sounds appalled. It was a very drunk and terrible mistake. Coda supplies. One she hopes you both will repeat. That's why she keeps bringing the tequila. Oliver mumbles next to me. I'm not completely stupid when it comes to SX, but by what it sounds like these guys get up to, I am less than an amateur. And this is not the group I want to learn from. I am going to permanently be red from all the blushing. I sit up straight. She is going to try and kill me after this. I need to get home quickly and hide. I will not get away with just simple beatdowns after they defended me and rejected her so publicly. I just realized I need to go. I have a big project I need to start on. I am ready to climb over Dakota and Cameron's laps if I have to. I am seriously about to have a full-blown panic attack and need to go before I make a complete scene. Please, let me out. I look at Cam and I don't know what he sees in my eyes. But he doesn't argue, just starts to shift and pushes Coda. I can feel my breath pick up. Wait just a couple minutes, and we can drop you at home. Cameron looks at me worriedly. No, it's okay, you guys are still eating. I was done anyway, I say as Cameron shifted to put his hand on me. I dodged to the side a bit, far enough out of his reach. I'm just going to walk. It will help my food settle. I turn quickly and head out before anyone can argue with me. Once out the door, I look around to see if she is waiting for me before darting behind the diner to take my shortcut through the woods. She doesn't seem to ever want to look for me there, but she will corner me if I'm walking down the sidewalk. Been there, done that. No thank you. I've gotten good at avoiding main roads as much as possible. Once I get to my backyard, I look everywhere, and my wolf and I sniff for anyone hiding out before dashing to my back door. Once I am safely inside, I lock the back door and lean on it for a minute. Once I felt calm, I went straight to my room where I stayed the rest of the weekend. Mateo tried knocking once, but I ignored him completely, so he didn't try to bother me after that. I did every bit of homework I could and took a risk running at 4 a.m. Sunday morning. I figured I would be safe from Kaylee and her minions and the guys. The trio would be working on their beauty sleep, and I don't think even they have the power to make someone watch me 24/7. It's not that I'm afraid of them, I think. I just don't want any more trouble than I usually have. She actually left me alone for 2 whole weeks, which was weird, but that didn't stop me from jumping every time I heard my name, or when someone tapped me on the shoulder. I know something is coming, and it's just a matter of time. It's too much to hope that she would leave me alone for good, because the guys have decided I am a part of their friend group, and she clearly wants that status. I do think having one or more of them around in between classes has kept her away. For now. I did my best to stay away from all the guys too, but as they all slowly discovered, I'm in a few of their classes, and they insisted that I sit near them and work with them. I wasn't allowed to disappear into the background. Thank the goddess that Kaylee wasn't in any of those classes. I just wasn't sure which people she had spying for her. And I always made excuses to not walk with any of them for too long, so she rarely saw us together in the hallway. I even avoided my brother, who shouldn't have been an issue at all, but I don't know with her level of crazy. She may not have put together that we are related, and therefore he isn't a romantic option for me. I'm sure Marnie sees me as a complication for Mateo, and that would be enough for Kaylee to retaliate. After 2 weeks, I was pulled into a dark closet following school, a large hand covering my mouth and part of my nose, making it hard to breathe, another gripping the back of my neck, squeezing the muscles tight enough to render me motionless. Then I felt punches to both sides of my ribs from the back. It was over almost before it began, and no threats were made. But the message was clear. I am a target again. I was shoved out of the closet quickly and tripped over myself, hitting the ground. The sound of footsteps running away hit my ears as I sat there struggling to breathe and sit up straight. I didn't even try to look to see who grabbed me. I just know they were huge, and I am for sure going to have bruises for a few hours. The mandatory trainings became hell as well. With the display Sierra and I put on, many people wanted to train with us to genuinely get better, but several were trying to hurt me for Kaylee, or they were upset that I made them look bad. It was hard to tell some days, but I became a punching bag and could do nothing about it. I set myself up for that. Now that I took the time to show off my skills, the pool expanded from Kaylee to anyone who was trying to climb the ladder and get noticed by our leaders. I was the one to knock down a peg, and if I showed any weakness, they all would eat it up. So I showed no weakness and took it all without making a sound. Most of them only got in really good shots when I was tired from previous fights, but I wouldn't let Delta Kyle or any of the other guys step in to help. I can't look like the favorite or like they are spoiling me. It would just make everything worse. I can guarantee she is fueling that fire too. I just can't prove it. It's the little comments that are made when I'm close enough for them to whisper in my ear. The other problem is none of the guys could do anything either. They did finally catch on to the fact that my sparring partners were more than just training rough, but the discussion of them helping me was shut down quickly, but had to be done daily. If they stepped in, it made me look weak, and like I can't actually defend myself, making me a bigger target. They did help though, in their own way. They all managed to be randomly paired with some of the guys who were exceptionally aggressive with me later in the week by Delta Kyle, and they returned the aggressiveness in kind, and none of them challenged me in front of the group. Sierra tried to get me to talk about my sudden, introverted tendencies at school, when I clearly am not based on what she saw her first weekend here. I did my best to dodge the questions, but eventually I had to give her something. She wasn't going to let my lame excuses slide for much longer. She got pretty creative with her lines of questioning, throwing in the oddball comment while we were talking about homework, or when she joined me on early morning runs, which she agreed with the guys was ridiculous. They all flat out refused when she asked them to join so the torture could be shared among the group. I have never been more thankful than when they said no. I didn't want to have to stop or find another thing to avoid doing with them. That early morning run and teaching the pups is all I have left that brings me any kind of joy now. And I can't avoid talking to them at the pups training. We seem to always have a future leaders fan group at extra training. They don't train, however. They sit in the stands and cheer. Even the one we have with the current leaders, which is starting to make the alpha irritated, so hopefully he will ban spectators. I can't be myself with the guys with all of these people watching, and I'm sure they notice even though none of them bring it up.